Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 124 of the ItsObviousGaming podcast. I'm your host, Preston Pugh, and I'm joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Hello, gentlemen. How is everyone doing today?
Great. Thanks for asking.
And Jacob Baca.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
I'm well also.
Good.
Also, am I well? I'm well. Also. Gentlemen, how's your week been?
Pretty good.
Yep.
How was your week?
Fine.
Okay. What about you, Jacob?
Good.
We'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye, everyone.
Jacob, you've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem this week?
No, not really. I bought it yesterday right before GameStop closed. So I've played like maybe 10 minutes or maybe more closer to 30 after playing a little bit today.
Were people kicking the door in to get this Fire Emblem Hero Warriors?
No. I went into the store and he didn't have it on the shelf, so you had to go in the back and open the box, I think. No one had purchased it
Open
yet.
the box.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, like the literal box that it got shipped in.
That's amazing.
He pulled out like 10 of them and brought them out. But I'm enjoying it for what it is so far. It's your typical Warriors style game. It's like Hyrule Warriors on... Wasn't that on the 3DS?
Was it on Wii U as well?
I don't know if it was on the 3DS for sure, but I know it was on the Wii U. But it's basically that, but it has some of the Fire Emblem like tactical, strategic elements of that game put into it. So it's a little more in depth than the Hyrule Warriors was. As far as I know, I haven't really experienced a lot of that stuff yet because I'm only in like the first chapter. But I'm enjoying the combat. It's basically just a hack and slash. Kill a bunch of enemies at the same time.
The XXX and the YYY.
Basically, yeah, heavy attacks, short attacks.
Yeah.
And
don't ridicule the man.
You have like a super ability,
then you will be
flashy. But it's fun. I wanted something new to play on my Switch because the only thing I haven't bought anything besides when I bought my Switch and got Zelda with the bundle that I got. So I don't know. And this is the first time I've ever bought a physical game for my Switch too. So I saw a little puny the cartridges were. And I licked it. It was very tasty.
Did you really lick it?
Yeah, I did.
You licked Fire Emblem as well?
I licked Zelda.
It's so funny. Everyone buys some new Switch games, they get in their car and they're like checking to make sure no one's looking, and they just take it out of its case.
Have you done it?
No, I've not.
It tastes really bad.
Try it.
I'd prefer not to.
It has a really strong
I heard
taste.
It's like vinegar tasting.
I've heard people say that you've never really lived until you've licked a Switch cartridge. Yeah. So
I'm okay with taking everyone's word for it.
Whatever, man.
Maybe if I get really hungry and I'm stuck on a desert island and all I have is my copy of Breath of the Wild on Switch, maybe I'll just eat that. It tastes like something. Yeah. So,
well, make sure you beat it first.
Yeah, I need to do that.
I don't want you to not beat it.
Still haven't beaten it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Switch, I'm pretty bored with what's it called? Stardew Valley.
Okay.
I got burnt out so quick on that game, man.
Okay.
I went into the mines and made it down to like level 32 or something.
Holy crap.
I was like, this is so boring.
Why are there 32 levels?
It goes deeper than that. I had a milestone to hit level 40 of the mines.
It's reminding me of Mementos.
Oh, from Persona.
Yeah. Which also has a shit ton of levels.
It was cool. I made enough money to start a coop. I have a coop on my farm. I have a few crops. I have not interacted with hardly anyone in the game. I have a dog. It's fun. I feel like maybe I'd be into it if I had progressed further into the game. It's just I have such little time to play that when I do, it just feels very grindy to me just to make enough money to do something, which is cool. I can tell if I'm in the right mood and the right setting, I'd really enjoy that, to really, maintain my farm and the challenges of having a social life and taking care of your crops and your animals and whatnot. But as of right now, I'm kind of bored with it. Not saying it's a bad game by any means. I just think I'm in the mood to play other things. Like Mario Odyssey this weekend and Wolfenstein are really on my mind, so... That's what I'm in the mood for. Some bloody violence and some good old-fashioned Mario action. I'm very excited for this
Assassin's
weekend.
Creed, right?
Totally, man.
I'm actually kind of excited for Assassin's Creed.
I am too. But
Shadow of War has made me want that game more.
I'm excited to hear about Shadow of War because I haven't really been keeping up with it.
Just the combat and parkouring around kind of makes me want to play Assassin's Creed.
But it's not. Assassin's Creed might not feel as good as that game, which we've discussed.
Maybe, yeah. I'll be.
Assassin's Creed is much different though, especially this time around.
I'll probably just wait. I'll probably pick it up regardless of what the reviews are, just because I've played every Assassin's Creed to this point, so I might as well just try it out. But I'm way more interested in Wolfenstein and Mario Odyssey, obviously.
Yeah, how do you guys plan to kind of distribute your time between the two? Are you gonna play one then the other? Or are you just gonna kind of jump between the two? What do you think?
I'll jump between the two. I'm probably going to be more focused on Wolfenstein 2 the day it comes out, because I know I'll probably be able to beat that game, relatively quickly, probably like 10 to 12 hours, I'm thinking.
You think so?
Whereas Mario Odyssey, that's probably going to be more of like a long burn. I'll be playing that,
Mario's a game that I picture maybe after I beat it, even I'll be just running around collecting stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to like 100% that game for sure. I mean, I want 100% Wolfenstein as well, but I'll probably be able to do that a lot faster than Mario.
And you said you're getting the PS4 edition.
No, I canceled it. I'm going to get PC version.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do as well.
Yeah, especially on that rig he has now. Can't blame the man. It's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah. Everything is very pretty on it so far. So
I'd imagine
I've only played 2 games. Shadow of War and The Evil Within 2. Shadow of War I'm about 30 hours into, I think. Maybe under that. 20-30 hours. I'm about to beat Act 2 or Act 3, I don't remember. I got to a point where I've taken over like 4 castles for the siege missions.
Aren't those called fortresses?
Yeah,
or is that
something like
else?
that. No, it's the big battles where you take the fortresses, kill the overlord, and state your own system of orcs and stuff. But I'm at one where a warning came up and it said, hey, you might want to finish these main story missions because there will be no turning back from this. So I have one more quest line to finish with this like Spirit of the Forest or something. It's my least favorite quest line to do, but that's my last one. And then I think go into the part that everybody is complaining about so far, the Shadow Wars, or there's just I don't know a lot about it because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but apparently there's a crap ton of fortress missions that you have to do to get like the true ending of the game. So I haven't got to that part yet, but so far it's really fun. It's gotten a little bit repetitive in terms of taking over the fortresses. It's kind of the same thing. You play a game of domination, get inside the fortress, you just stay in a circle. Once the bar is filled up, you push down on the D-pad, you stick your flag in it. Wow. That's yours. Then you take 3 of them, then you fight the overlord, which is it's surprisingly hard. Even if you're around the same level as the overlord, it's surprisingly pretty hard. I've died quite a few times in this game, more so than the first game. You really have to be prepared, and if you want it to be a relatively easy fight, you want to be over leveled. What's another thing? Oh yeah, the actual assaults on the fortress are hard as well if you don't take out the war chiefs. Yeah, which
I learned that the hard way at PAX.
Yeah, if you just don't prepare and just attack it, you will get destroyed. All your captains will be massacred, and you're trying to run around and res them, and it's nearly impossible to revive them if you're having arrows shot at you and stuff, because if you're just hit just one time, you have to restart the process. There was this one war chief on the last fortress I was trying to take where he had this poison mastery where he would put this AoE thing down that would poison me and it would kill me instantly, and it was pissing me off so much, so I just hunted him down personally and killed him in a one-on-one fight, and then I went back to the fortress and I was able to take it way easier.
Nice.
But my favorite thing to do with the war chiefs is you can turn his bodyguards against him, so when you draw him out, he brings his bodyguards with him and they just like stab him in the back, and you just like fight him like 4-on-1.
That's awesome.
So that's really fun.
Have you used any dragons yet?
Yeah,
anything like that?
I have. Not as much as you would think. I did the Balrog fight, and you have to fly a dragon a little bit as you fight him.
Where do you fight him?
Balrog?
Yeah.
You fight him
because in the movie it was in that little cave, right? Or mine.
They're not to spoil.
Yeah, if it's too spoilery, don't
nothing in this game is spoilery. The story's not that good. People are crapping on the story big time. But it's not that bad. Some people are making it out to be like the worst thing they've ever heard or seen in their life. It's not that bad. It's just kind of not being too up to date on Lord of the Rings lore or whatever. I don't really have any clue what's going on right now. Like,
see, I'm interested because I love like the blue ring, and I've seen a shot from the trailer where you see Sauron's fingers get cut off, like in the original story.
Yeah, I know who did that.
But I'm wondering why the ring's blue in this one. Is he I can fuse it with the power he has into the ring or something?
Well, the movies say who did it. Like before the first Fellowship of the Ring, it shows
what's that guy's name again?
You fight him. In this game.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Spoiler alert, sorry. Apparently that part is not to canon at all.
Okay.
Because you fight the Nazgul, the floaty guys, and they're his like main war chiefs, the Nazgul people, you take on missions to fight them one-on-one, and they each have like different weapons.
That's awesome.
They do different things, and once you like
former ring bears,
once you kill them, you kind of go in their backstory and see where they came from. That part is really cool, and I actually just fought one of the guys that cut the ring off initially. It shows him like wearing it and stuff, and how he became like corrupted or whatever. So that is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm having a lot of fun. The combat's like really visceral and just fun.
One more thing, how is that skill tree? Because I've heard it's pretty good.
It is good. It's way more extensive than
a lot going on in there.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff. You pretty much have in every line 5 skills, and then there's either 3 or 2 skills that can go on that skill, and you can, once you unlock them, you can pick between the 2. Like for instance, one of my favorite skills that I have unlocked is when you're doing a ground execution, you can counterattack somebody while you're continuing the execution.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah, so because that's a big problem, especially in the early game. You keep trying to ground execute somebody, somebody comes up behind you, and you have to stop that process to counter somebody, so you can just continue killing him while Celebrimbor phases out of you and counterattacks that guy. So there's cool things like that. You have a new staff where if you hold down the attack button, you can just do this really big sweep attack, and if you upgrade that, you can do it multiple times, and that's effective. One of my favorite things in terms of navigation is the double jump now. It is super awesome. Just in mid jump, if you decide to jump back or to the left or right, you can just do another double jump in midair, and it's really cool. And then you can also unlock an ability called Bird of Prey, where if you whip your bow out as you're falling, time will stop, and you can aim an arrow as you're falling. And I've done some of the coolest things.
Legend of Zelda stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Where I've jumped from a building, shot 2 guys on another roof, and like landed right next to them. It just looks so cool. Pretty much everything you do in that game looks awesome, and it makes you feel like a badass.
Yeah, no fall damage either.
Yeah.
You can fall from 1 billion feet and be fine.
That's realistic.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was in Mordor as well.
Yeah. I couldn't remember that because I remember when I played at PAX, I fell off like the most massive tower.
Yeah.
And I like lost my stomach. It was so high up, and the guy's like, "Oh, you'll be okay." And I just like hit the ground and roll and keep going. It's like, "Oh, okay, good."
Yeah. Besides the double jump, the navigation's pretty much the same. If you clear a small object, you can push A or X, whatever controller you're using, and you'll get a little burst of speed. But I've done a few loot boxes. You can buy loot boxes with the currency in the game, and you can actually do daily challenges to get gold to unlock the better loot boxes.
Daily challenges?
Yeah, daily challenges.
Like, what do they usually entail?
Like, do an online conquest and get 10 headshots. Just stuff. They're completely
That's kind of cool.
Nothing super hard. So you can buy these loot boxes without spending any money either. And it's pretty, especially there's 3 tiers. There's mithril, gold, and silver. With the main currency in the game, you can buy silver loot boxes, and with the gold currency, you can buy gold and mithril loot boxes. The gold currency is rarer to come by. I've only gotten like 500 or 700 in my entire time playing, but I haven't really been doing the daily challenges or whatever because I don't really care. I think the loot boxes feel very out of place in this game because the entire point is to track down these war chiefs and brand them yourselves, and it's just really random to open up a crate and they give you 3, and some are better than others, and you can break them down to get gear and stuff.
Break down the ores.
You literally break down the ores, and they just fall over, and then you get a piece of gear.
That's awesome.
It just feels very out of place. It doesn't fit the rest of the game. But so yeah, I don't like them. They don't do it. So far, they haven't done anything at all because I'm like level 41. I'm not really sure what max level is, but you'll open a loot crate. There's 2 different types of loot crates. There's one type that gives you actual orcs, and then there's another type that gives you weapons and gear. And I've been opening more weapons and gear because, like I said, you can just go get your own orcs. You don't need them. And I'll get a really good piece of gear, and I'm like, oh, sick. Within an hour, I have something way better. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, if you were actually spending money on these, I feel like you'd be getting ripped off big time because you're constantly finding better gear. It's like Destiny. You're swapping out your gear all the time. And I like that a whole lot. I love just the loot hunt and the if you're fighting a legendary captain or something, you know that you can brand him and keep him as yours, and he will be good to protect your fortress, or you can kill him and have a chance of getting a good legendary drop of gear. So there's that dilemma there where you try and decide if you want to keep him alive or kill him. So it goes a lot more in depth than that. Like, you can brand some war chiefs if they're too high of a level. You can like lower their level, and you can shame them, and it gets pretty in depth. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. If I play it for too long, it is kind of samey. Even the quest there are story quests that break up the monotony of it. I use that word. I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly, but you know what I mean. Like fighting the Balrog, doing other things. That's pretty much the only thing that felt really different so far, was fighting the Balrog. Everything else is pretty much just go free these prisoners, go kill this guy, do this without being seen. You know,
have you like followed Gollum yet or anything?
Yeah, you do that at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that was in the first game too.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's fun. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. If you really like Lord of the Rings, you'll really like this as well. So that's really all I have to say about that game. And it's absolutely beautiful in 4K. Like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Shout out to a couple things from Lord of the Rings real quick. I had to do a presentation on the 2 towers in my cinema history class this week, and I was reminded
of... I wrote a paper on The Return of the King.
Oh, did you?
When I was in school, yeah.
Nice, yeah. I did 2 towers. But 2 shots from Lord of the Rings, about the ring specifically, when we were talking about the ring earlier, that I think are just absolutely gorgeous. One being from the Fellowship of the Ring in the... I don't know, you can't, what is it called? The prologue. When what's-his-name cuts off the fingers of Saruman, and he grabs the fingers and he crushes the fingers in his hand. When he opens his hand, and like the ashes and the ring glowing in his hand just looks incredible. Like, that ring looks so good. And the other shot I love from Fellowship of the Ring is when they're climbing up that snowy mountain and Frodo realizes he's dropped the ring. And it cuts to a close-up of the ring in the snow. And again, it just looks so glorious as Boromir approaches it. I was going to say, the reason why I like those shots is because it really makes you, in a way, almost feel for the characters that want to keep the ring. Because one, it just looks so good. And then, you know, like they're seduced by the power of the ring and everything.
Well, let me ask you a question about this ring.
Yes.
In the game right now, Celebrimbor and Talion made this ring at the beginning of the game.
The blue one?
Yes. They forged this blue ring, which looks like the traditional ring. Saruman, as of now, has a ring as well, but it doesn't look like this ring. It looks like another ring that has this giant red gem on it. What is that? Because they're talking about how Celebrimbor made this ring. This is the pure ring. This is the ring that isn't going to drive people power hungry and stuff, but it looks like the ring in the movies.
I'd have to see it. Okay. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
I'll have to play it. I mean, I'll play it at some point. Same with Assassin's Creed, but
there's 2 rings right now. Saruman has one, and Talion has one.
Okay.
So
I thought we killed Sauron in the previous game in DLC.
No. Oh, you did?
In DLC, I thought you could have done that.
I don't know.
Because I've seen gameplay from that.
I know you play as... don't you play as Celebrimbor in the DLC? The Bright Lord DLC or something like that?
I can't remember. I just know you can fight Sauron, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember in the main game you didn't fight Sauron.
Yeah, not in the actual game, but I could have sworn in DLC you could fight him.
It's like a shade of...
Maybe it's like a prequel DLC or something?
Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you're going to fight him in this game.
Okay, so he's still around.
Yeah, he's the overlord of one of the
fortresses?
Yeah, the fortress that I'm about to take on. He's in the overlord.
Is he considered the final boss, or is it Shelob?
Shelob she's gone.
She's gone?
Yeah, she's like out of there the first act.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I actually like her. She's not bad. She's pretty cool.
It's a very interesting take they took on her, making her, humanoid.
Yeah, she morphs in and out of being a spider.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. Her dress like looks like spider around her. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say about that game. It's pretty fun. Oh yeah, I'm having some achievement problems on Steam. What the hell? This really easy achievement isn't... There are these doors that... It's just a collectible. If you collect 6 or 7 of these poems in a world, you go to this door, then you have to take the words you learned, put them in this puzzle, and then the door opens and you get a piece of the Bright Lord gear, so you can look like Celebrimbor. And if you get all legendary items of a set, there's a special bonus that unlocks. So I'm trying to do that right now. And the achievement is open one of these doors. I've opened all 6 of them, and I still haven't gotten this achievement. So what the hell?
Must be bugged.
Yeah. So I'm
coming back to PS4 then, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
You're just gonna trade back it, not trade it, but sell all your gear. You just buy it for your PC.
I'll figure out a way to unlock it. I'm sure on PC there's a way I can jerry rig something to unlock a achievement. There's got to be a way. Anyways, I played The Evil Within 2. I'm about 5 hours into that game. That game is surprising me a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's very pretty. I've heard a lot of people crapping on the graphics, saying it looks old, but I think it looks really, really good, especially the character models.
I mean, then again, you are playing on a pretty powerful rig there.
Yeah, but even if... it just looks good. I don't even see how on console it wouldn't look good.
Mm-hmm. It looked fine when I played it on, I think it was Xbox One when I played it recently.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I've just heard a lot of things about, or I've just read a lot of people complaining about the graphics, and I don't really understand. But it's really cool. I had to watch a plot synopsis of the first game because I did not beat it, and just the I'm not going to spoil it, just watch it for yourself, but just I guess it's a twist in the first game of what's really going on in this universe is really, really cool. So you kind of go back into that world, and the entire point of this game is you're trying to find your daughter. So I'm just got to Act 4, and Act 3 pretty much consisted of you running around this town called Union, and there were some side quests, just a lot of exploration, which was very different from, the first game was way more linear. And it's scary, but it's not like atmospherically scary. It's more boo scary.
Yeah.
Things keep jumping out at me and I keep screaming. And every now and then you'll transcend to some like alternate universe, and this scary lady will just be floating around. And
she's what made me scream when I played it.
You just have to hide from her until she leaves, and that's pretty terrifying. But it's definitely it gives me a lot of Resident Evil 4 vibes for sure. And I don't know if the same guy's directing this one, but the guy that directed Resident Evil 4 directed The Evil Within 1. I'm not sure if he's directing this one as well.
I think it's Shinji Mikami. I think he's in some way involved if he's not directing.
I did read something saying he's either not as involved. I don't know. I could be wrong. But the world is just very cool. There's a big survival horror aspect to it gameplay wise. Like, I'm constantly running out of ammo and I'm running for my life, and there's a cool crafting mechanic where you can craft things on the go. It just takes more resources than if you were to craft at a bench. So it's good. I'm having that argument where if I'm coming up to a group of guys, I can either sneak past them or try and get past them without shooting anything so I can get to a workbench and make more ammo. Or if I just absolutely have to take down these guys, I have to make ammo just on my own person, and it wastes more materials and I'm not getting as much ammo out of it. So,
does ammo drop from anything?
Yes, it's very rare, but
yeah, I've heard it's scarce in the game.
There is a point where there are other people in this world, like agents, and I don't know what I did in the story to find their locations, but their locations are on my map, and it says if they have like shotgun ammo or handgun ammo, and you can go to their bodies, but their bodies are typically in pretty dangerous areas. So, but anyways, I just got to chapter 4, and upon completing chapter 4, I saw in a little cutscene more enemies spawn in Union, like these really creepy green people that just look really freaky, and these spider people crawling on the floor. So I'm even more scared now to run around this town that I became pretty accustomed to. Like I kind of knew the pathways the enemies were taking, and they switched it up on me. So, but I'm not too deep into it. I'm pretty sure I read that the game kind of splits off from Union and more linear parts, take place. So I think I'm coming to a part like that because my next objective is in a completely different area that I have to go off in. But the story's interesting. It looks pretty. The voice acting is okay. It's not the best I've heard. It's definitely not the worst I've heard. The gameplay's really fun. The enemies are designed really cool, very creepy looking. And I'm excited to get back into it. I'm pretty sure I should be able to beat it like this week. I don't think it's too terribly long. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Alrighty.
And I played a little bit, I forgot about this. I played more Divinity Original Sin 2 before these two things came out. I know I told you this. I don't think I discussed this on the podcast, but I asked for a refund for Divinity Original Sin 2. I was about 4 hours in, and I know you can only ask for a refund if you've played less than 2 hours. So they declined it, and I was just like, come on. It was not grabbing me at all. I completely respect it, but I just do not think that this game or the CRPGs are my type of thing.
Yeah, well, why do you think so, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the camera or if it's just I don't want to say it's... I was getting my teeth kicked into. I was playing on classic mode, and it was very unforgiving. I was getting my butt kicked every 5 seconds, very hard. And I'm just not used to games like this, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. So it was very hard for me to learn, and it was very frustrating that every time I would get in a combat scenario, I was just dying instantly. So I was getting pretty annoyed. So I dropped it down to Explorer difficulty, and I was having more fun. I was actually getting through battles. It wasn't the easiest thing ever, but I was actually able to get through these battles. And I escaped the tutorial island that you're on, and I got to this part where these pigs were on fire. And I'm like, how do I save them? And I couldn't figure out how to save them.
You don't. You just eat them.
I just got
a barrel of water, maybe.
Well, it was like cursed fire, so water wouldn't put them out. Obviously, that was the first thing I tried.
I hate that kind of fire.
I tried healing them, nothing would work. So I got really frustrated, and I just turned it off. And I Googled, why am I not understanding this game? Like, what am I missing? What is so good about this game? Why are people talking about it so much? And I couldn't find anything. There were other people that were in the same similar situation than me. They just couldn't get into it. So I just kind of accepted the fact that this game probably wasn't for me. But I tried one more time. I was going to give it one more go, Jacob.
Okay.
And then I played for like 10 hours straight. And it hooked me so hardcore, dude. Okay. I don't know what happened. I figured out how to save the pigs, and the story got super interesting. I went to this alternate world and talked to this god, and he told me things about my companions, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I'm going to play this game with a completely different mindset based on a particular companion that he kind of warned me about. I'm not going to say who it is, so it's not a spoiler, but he told me, hey man, this companion you have, I think you should kill him. I think you should kill him, her. I don't know about her. So I'm playing this game.
How can you trust this thing?
Exactly. So I'm playing this game. I'm like, what's up with this? So I really like these companions I have. They have really cool backstories, and I like the way they interact with me. But there's this one that I was warned about. So it's like I'm keeping an eye on him. And I don't know. That was just really cool to me. I don't know. I just thought it was awesome. And
the pumpkin.
I'm sorry. I don't know, the story was just getting better. It was clicking for me more, and I really, really was having a lot of fun. I played it like almost 10 hours that day, way into the night.
Interesting.
So I was enjoying it a ton.
So your advice is, if you're not really feeling Divinity Original Sin 2, you gotta get past the flaming pit.
Try again.
Yeah, just give it a try, even when you think I know that's dumb. Like, if you're not enjoying a game, obviously you don't want to play it, but I gave it one more go. definitely put it on Explore difficulty if you've never played this game, because Classic is insane. Maybe I just suck at. I know I suck at these games, but it was kicking my butt so hard.
I started on the easiest difficulty because Felipe of Switzerland told me to. He said it was just the first one was the same way. It was very unforgiving on harder difficulty, so I just started on easy, and it hooked me from the start. I haven't gone back to it since the first day I played it because I've been too busy, but I want to, especially after what you told me.
Yeah, it's really cool how you can just figure out these. Pretty much anything you can think of can like solve a situation. You get I found these teleporter gloves where you could just teleport everywhere, and I solved so many puzzles just almost breaking the game, just teleporting past gates and stuff. If there's a solution in your brain to solve something, for the most part, I haven't found a puzzle yet that it hasn't worked, but if you think of like, how do I word this? If you were actually there and you were going to solve a situation a particular way, the game pretty much supports that. Things just work. You know, just in this game world, just things react with each other as you would think they would in real life, which makes solving puzzles rewarding because there's not really one concrete way. It seems like everything I do, there's different things to do and different choices to make. So if that makes any sense at all. But I'm enjoying it. I hope I can get back to it once everything else is settled down, because I got decently far in it, and I'm really digging my crew that's with me, and I want to see kind of how their stories end, and I want to see how my story ends as well. So that is...
And death, more than likely.
Maybe. I don't know. I think the overall goal is only one person can be a god in the end, so it makes me think that at some point I'm going to have to screw over all my companions, or there's probably a way that I can get past that as well. So, yeah. That's all I have to say.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's all I played. Yeah.
You play anything else other than Fire Emblem?
Played some Breath of the Wild.
How'd that go?
I'm jumping back into that game. I am at the 4th and final Guardian Beast, or Divine Beast. Va Naboris, I believe it's called.
I can't remember its name. Yeah, I just call it the camel.
Are you in the camel?
Yes, I am inside. I have done all the terminals. I'm about to fight the Blight.
I can't remember what the Blight is like on that boss. Is it fire?
Don't tell me. No, it can't be fire.
No,
fire
that was the lizard one.
Yeah. But
did you like sneaking into the
town?
The city?
I did. Yeah, that was cool.
I really like that city. It's cool.
Yeah, this has probably been my favorite part of the game, is the desert, and just surfing on my shield with the seals. Like, that's so awesome. I literally just like took 10 minutes and just surfed around the desert. It was fun.
Did you find the ferry out there?
No.
Oh. She's out there waiting for you.
Which is there a hint you can give me? So I'm never gonna find it. Well, I'll probably find it.
Bottom left corner.
Okay. So the town's like in the middle, right?
It's kind of.
I haven't found the tower yet for that area, so I'm just.
Oh, really?
I can't see anything on the map.
The ferry's in the bottom left corner-ish.
Because I thought I saw the tower in the desert, but I went to it, but it's the north one. It unlocks like that valley area, or it's the area just north of the desert. So I'm still searching for the tower. Okay. But like I said, I'm really enjoying Breath of the Wild, like this part in particular.
Did you talk to the person about the sand boots?
Probably.
There's a person out front of the town that has sand boots, and there's a cool quest that you can do to eventually acquire.
Which town? The Oasis, or
the one that
the actual
you have,
town?
The actual town.
Okay. Is that the fat guy?
That
tells you about the clothes?
No, he's running back and forth in front of the town.
I think I have talked to him.
He can give you boots that allow you to walk normally.
Is it a quest?
Yes.
I probably got it and haven't done it yet.
Okay. This quest gives you boots which allow you to walk normally in snow and in sand.
Do they look good?
Yeah.
Okay.
They match.
Since when do you care about style in a game, Jake? If you're running around like the Prince of Egypt in Destiny. It's all about the gear, man. I don't care how it looks.
As long as I'm not dying like from heat or freezing in Zelda, I like looking good. Yeah. Like, for example, I always wear that knight's armor with like a black hood.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I think it looks good.
I can't wear the knight's armor in that game.
Why?
Because it doesn't look like Link.
I get that completely. I typically roll with the khaki pants, the knight's chest, and the black hood.
I'm rolling with.
That's my highest rated armor right now.
I hate how in all the cutscenes he's wearing that stupid blue outfit. I hate that outfit.
I'm not into the hero's tunic. Is it the champion's tunic?
Yeah. Whenever you start the game, and I guess you don't.
No, it's your old champion's tunic.
It's your old.
I don't hate it, but I prefer the armor.
It has good ability too, being able to see the health of the person you're fighting.
Is that what it does?
Mm-hmm. It shows the number above their head, so you actually know how much health they have. It's only with the champions.
I don't think I even have it.
You have to do one memory. Return it back to Impa, and she gives you the champion's tunic.
I don't even know if I've done that. I mean, I've gotten memories, but I don't know if I've gone back to her.
Okay.
Maybe I have. I don't know, guys. I'm just enjoying Breath of the Wild. It's fun.
It's a really fun game.
Oh, I mean, I'm enjoying it so much so that it's kind of crept up into my game of the year discussion brewing in my head. So
certainly,
we'll see how Mario does, and I'll make a decision.
I heard you say last week on the podcast when I wasn't here that I would get mad at somebody saying that Horizon's gameplay was better than Zelda or something. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I just want to say I would agree. I
don't think it was just about gameplay. I just think I meant overall.
Overall, no, you're wrong. Yeah. But gameplay, in terms of combat, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think in every way Horizon's better than Breath of the Wild. I just think in some ways.
In combat, Horizon's
better.
I want to say it massacres.
I think in story it's better too.
Well, yeah, I agree as well. I agree.
Gameplay.
Zelda's story is your story. Whereas in Horizon, you do
very much Aloy's story.
Yeah. Zelda, you make your own story.
That's more of a subjective thing, though.
What do you mean?
When it comes to judging a story.
You could say whether it's about your story.
I've had more just personal experiences than Zelda, whereas I feel like in Horizon, pretty much everybody had the same thing happen to them.
I get that.
I feel like Zelda's story is more about just what you experience. I know that's what you're kind of trying to say.
Yes,
but it's more of just like exploring and seeing what you find, and just I don't know. And Horizon's an actual story.
They're just different games. Horizon's more of I know it's open world, but it's more of a streamlined open world, story-based game. Whereas Zelda is much more of a just do what you want to do and go do it.
Yeah, in terms of freedom, Zelda is light years more open than Horizon. You can literally climb anything in Zelda.
Yeah.
I saw that the only Zelda-like moment I had as far as like, whoa, I didn't expect that to happen in Horizon was when I was fighting a Thunderbird. It's actually on our YouTube channel. Is it called Stormbird? That's what it's called.
Yeah, that same Thunderbird gave me a ton of trouble on that mountain.
Yeah, because it's funny because it knocked me off the cliff and I landed on the side of a mountain where I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be, but I was hanging off the side of the steep cliff in the middle of the fight. I kept slipping down a mountain and I'd have to climb back up and keep fighting as I was slipping, and it was just so epic on this cliffside. This giant field out in the distance below me. It was cool.
Did you get to loot the bird since you fell?
I did. He fell onto the side of the mountain, and he was about to fall off, and I grabbed the stuff from him, so it was pretty exciting.
I'm excited to jump back into Horizon next month.
Me too.
As am I. We still have that Zelda DLC coming eventually.
I keep forgetting about the Zelda DLC
next month as well. I think.
Okay.
Either November or December.
Nice.
I haven't heard anything about it.
I still need to beat part 3 of Trial of the Sword in Zelda.
There's 3 parts. I thought there were 2 parts.
There's 3 parts.
I don't want to do that. Like that's not fun.
Part 3 is stressful.
That's not fun gameplay to me. Like going through challenges and then if you die, you have to start over. If you don't get so far, I don't like that.
I think there's checkpoints, aren't there?
Isn't that like the first one's a checkpoint and then the second one's a checkpoint? That's
what it is. Yeah, you don't have to start from the very beginning, but let's say you get into like level 19 of part 3 and you die, you have to start all the way over. It's tough.
I do like the aspect though is that like you start with nothing and you're just using what they give you.
They're pretty lenient though, because if you go in, not only can you get you can hoard a bunch of food items if you find it, but you can also in all the break rooms where there's the chests you can open, you can collect fish and cook it and stuff and get new gear and progress forward into the next levels. There's always 1 or 2 fairies in each one. If you grab every fairy by the end, I think you have like 5 or 6 fairies, so you can die 6 times when you fight the final boss or whatever. It's tough though, because if you don't get those fairies, it's even more nerve-wracking. But they're kind of lenient when you do it. So
one more thing before we move on, I really, really enjoyed sneaking into that thief base that stole like the helmet that the queen of the desert place.
Was it a thunder helm?
Yeah, the thunder helm.
The banana guys.
Yeah. That was really fun because I haven't really utilized stealth in that game at all up until this point. But I kind of snuck my way around and distracted enemies and got to the end and fought that really goofy boss. But that was really fun. it just added to me liking that area even more, the whole desert area. So.
Are you playing in docked mode with your Pro controller?
For the most part, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like
that
Pro
controller. Makes a big difference.
It's nice, dude.
It's so nice.
I agree. Can't wait to play Mario with that thing.
Absolutely.
Only a couple more days, or a few more days.
Yeah. This is up on Monday, this Friday. Very exciting.
Very excited.
Destiny PC comes out tomorrow.
It does.
Or let's get real, guys. Are we picking this up
on opening day?
Yeah.
I might eventually pick it up.
Okay.
So
I'm probably gonna pick it up Tuesday.
Are you really?
I think I already have it like pre-downloaded. I just haven't bought it.
Okay.
So I don't know.
You can pre-download without buying it?
Yeah, I mean something's downloading on my Battle.net launcher, so it's big enough to be game files, so I assume that's what it is.
Did you already pre-order it?
No.
Okay.
Something's downloading though. I guess it's the game.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure you can download any game on Battle.net, then you just have to like access it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
I haven't even installed the Battle.net on my new computer yet.
Yeah, I was looking at my friends list and you haven't been on for like 2 months.
There's nothing to play.
Yeah, as a Blizzard fan, it hurt me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
I haven't been on there either.
What would I be playing?
Yeah, you haven't either. You can play anything you want. Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
so many great games.
That's what I should be playing.
There are really
and now
great games
Destiny 2.
Yeah. Yes. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pick it up at launch. I don't know. I still need to platinum.
I do too. I just need to do a prestigious Nightfaller raid.
I need to do that, and then I need to do the Trials of the Nine, and it really offended me that they're taking that away for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah.
So that kind of blows.
Delaying that platinum.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had plenty of time beforehand to get it, but I've been slacking a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hesitant to get into the PC release because I just put so much time into the PlayStation version, and it's just like, all right, let's start over now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited to play it again. It's kind of weird because I know what I'm going to be playing again. And I'm not really like the content's one. I've played it before. It's okay. Like it's just like a repetitive grind, but I don't know. I'm just excited to have that wider field of view on my computer and just have those higher frames, just see how it really plays in the main game.
Once the DLC drops, I'll probably really get into it. But
that's what I was thinking.
I have so much to play this week, and once Wolfenstein and Assassin's Creed, and then Call of Duty, and then Battlefront, like my time is going to be occupied.
And even beyond that, I still have plans to get to Shadow of War, hopefully Evil Within, and Assassin's Creed. So
yeah, I want to play Fractured But Whole at some point. Then Xenoblade 2 comes out, and then Frozen Wilds, and then Zelda DLC.
I'm about to be screwed. Like I'm gonna play all these.
Did I say Xenoblade 2?
Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
Yeah, that's coming out. Yep. Goodness,
December 1st.
Too many games.
Yeah, even this month alone, there's been too many.
I really goofed and didn't finish Zelda before all this happened because
I'm just glad to be at the very end. I just got to go kill Ganon in the end.
Yeah.
So,
man, I put a lot of time into that when it first came out.
What, Zelda? Yeah,
like 150 something hours. Like
that's amazing.
The first month.
I haven't put that many hours into any game in a very long time.
That's the most hours I've put into a game recently, for sure.
I don't think I've ever put that many hours into a single player game.
I think that I put the most hours recently, and not even really considered recently anymore, was Fallout 4 and The Witcher 3. Those two specifically. Oh, yeah. I put a lot of hours into Horizon as well. Actually, in retrospect, I think I only played Horizon for about like 42 hours by the time I platinumed it.
I platinumed Horizon in like 30 hours.
I think it just felt like a long time to me. I don't know why.
I take that back. I think I played Persona 5
a
very long time. Yeah. Like way longer than I played Skyrim.
You didn't platinum that, did you?
No.
Okay. To platinum that took me quite a few hours.
I think it was around 90 hours, if I remember correctly, that I played Persona.
I think my save was around 150-ish. So that and Zelda are my two big time sinks. I'm sure if you account for both of my platinums in The Witcher, that probably adds up to a large amount of time. But anywho, anything else we'd like to discuss before we jump on into the news of this week? Or last week?
Did you play anything?
I did, but mine factor into like the first real news story of the week, so I'll just talk about it then.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. This is the It's Obvious Gaming podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games, obviously. You can find all of our content, including the video version of this podcast over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. If YouTube is not good for you, or you'd like to take us on the go, you can find this podcast weekly on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Audio Boom, and other podcasting services. Please check the description down below for timestamps to skip throughout the podcast, links to our social media pages, our Discord channel, PlayStation community, and other means to connect with us. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel down below, and be sure to like and comment to get involved with the It's Obvious community. Doing so helps us out tremendously, and we would forever be in your debt. With all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
Gentlemen, Destiny 2 is losing quite a few players on console. This news comes courtesy of James Paley of CODconnected.com. He says, Destiny 2 is coming out in just a few days for the PC, and as of when this podcast goes live, it's tomorrow. Apparently, everyone is waiting to play this version of the game because the two console versions have been steadily losing players for the last month. Around 2 million players, to be specific.
Wow.
That's quite a few players.
I wonder why they're leaving.
I think they're averaging about 1.3 million right now. So, yeah, it could be PC.
It's as if they have nothing to do.
It is like that, isn't it, Jacob? I was going to say one of the main reasons I'm hesitant to pick it up on PC, even though I do believe it feels like an entirely new experience on PC, just in terms of the way the game feels and looks. I don't think I'm going to pick it up just because once you do get to that point at the end of the game, there just really isn't a whole lot to do. I mean, I like milestones. I like doing call to arms and the flashpoints and everything, and even I haven't done Nightfall yet, but even the weekly raid, the Nightfall, call to arms, blah 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 blah. I think that stuff's fun, but again, you can blow through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and if you just have one character, you can finish all that in a day.
Yeah,
you're done with it for the week. Even if you are playing weekly.
And I'm not one of those people who needs to play it every day, every 5 seconds. But I realize there is an audience that wants to play the game that way. But I'm not going to pick it up on PC initially because of that reason. Now, if they refine a bit of the end game, and I know I'm not the first to say this, but maybe add some more, maybe additional challenges or gear specific loot, I think you mentioned, to strikes and maybe adventures, maybe give more merit to lost sectors, because even I'm sure everyone thought this when I first played the game, lost sectors are cool when you first explore them, but once you find them and get the loot out of them, there really isn't a reason to go back to them.
The only reason I went back was during the clan wars. There was not clan wars, faction wars.
There was a challenge to go in one.
There was actually it was one of the daily challenges that changed every day. But yeah. Also, there was an exploit where there was one lost sector on Titan, and if you died, I think there was 5 or 6 of those things you could shoot and get a token. But if you died in a certain spot after you killed them all in that room, it would respawn you at the beginning, and you could do it right again. So I just farmed it for hours.
Right.
And I got all the new Monarchy gear because of that.
Oh wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. I forgot what I was trying to make a point about, but that's what I did.
Lost sectors, yeah. It's just once you get to that point, it doesn't entice me enough to grind through an entire new character just to get to that point and be stuck again.
So here's my question: do you think you're gonna play the DLC this December on PS4? Or are you gonna do computer? You think
probably PS4, just because my character's already at that point for the most part.
Then why would you even buy it for PC then?
Because I just think I think it is fantastic on PC. So I'm having to choose my words carefully. I can't talk about a whole lot of PC stuff.
You played the beta.
Yeah, I played the beta. That's the excuse I can use.
We all did.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think it's a whole new experience in many ways on PC. Again, still the same base game, same story, same Crucible, same events and whatnot, but just in terms of the way the game feels, and even especially when you're playing on a really powerful computer like Preston's, for example, it looks gorgeous. So those are the reasons that bring me back to playing through it again. But as of right now, I'm waiting for those updates before I really dive back into Destiny on PC. I'll definitely pick it up at some point, but just not at launch.
Did you guys hear about the TwitchCon panel that they did, Bungie, yesterday?
No,
I did not hear about it. No.
Basically, they talked about the seasons in Destiny, kind of like, an Overwatch season.
I was wondering what that meant, because I saw they showed armor for Iron Banner and something else for Season 2. Yeah, I didn't know what they meant by that.
We're currently in Season 1 right now.
Okay.
Everything in the game is Season 1. Basically, every season, I think they said there's going to be 4 seasons, one for every time of the year, every season of the year.
Are we in fall right now?
I guess, yeah. And then December will be the winter season.
Okay.
But basically, your clan's going to reset, you'll go back to level 0.
Interesting. Okay.
You'll get the banner for the clan. You'll get a new the pole, whatever it is, the staff that the banner's hanging on. You'll get a new one of those every season. They're going to be updating the sandbox every season. They're going to be adding
what do they
DLC
mean specifically about
season.
Updating the sandbox?
like changing how buffing. Buffing. What's the opposite of buffing?
Debuffs.
Yeah, debuff. Nerfing. That's what
nerfing.
Okay. Nerfing and buffing. They're gonna be like changing how weapons work and stuff like that. Basically, like the end of every season is when they're gonna be like making big changes to the game. And there's gonna be like all the Eververse stuff will be. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a little disrespectful, Jacob.
All the Eververse stuff is gonna be like cycled out, and it's gonna be like different stuff every season. It's just like
I guess that keeps things interesting.
Yeah, it's like putting more stuff in the game to make people have more things to do or grind for.
Man, imagine if they had that's the thing about Destiny 2 is that they have everything they need to keep people occupied all week long if that's what they want. They just have to make it happen. Like strikes, all they have to do, like I'm not an expert. I could be totally wrong about this and anyone else who's talking about this. But if you had added more merit to strikes and adventures and more stuff that already exists in the game, I mean, you could keep people playing for hours on end. I mean, I know people still do it regardless of completing everything. But if you really did, that'd be awesome, especially with all the seasons evolving.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So, I mean, Destiny 2, I still think Destiny 2 is great. I'm not harping on it by any means, but it is interesting to see that over 2 million players have dropped off from console.
Yeah, that surprised me. I had no idea.
And it reminds me when I visited the studio the last time when they were like, yeah, we keep this monitor up and shows like how many people are playing. We freak out if it drops to, like, I can't imagine how they're reacting right now.
They're freaking out now. The game just came out.
Right, so.
Oh, they're also bringing back the Dawning event. It's like their Christmas event now. So, and they showed
is that where you get like Christmas gifts and stuff? Like the loot boxes look like? Yeah. I'm thinking of Overwatch.
Yeah. But they showed some of the gear that's coming with that event. It looks really cool. And there's like a ghost that's like, it's a ghost, but it has like galaxy patterns on it. So you can move the ghost around. You can see like stars and stuff.
That's kind of cool.
It's like the Taken.
Pretty much. Well,
kind of.
It's like bluish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like those boots you wear.
Yeah.
On your warlock.
I mean, they had some cool looking stuff, but it's not like actual new content. It's just new gear and stuff that you can earn in.
I thought the gear looked pretty cool from the images I saw.
Yeah. You saw images?
That's the thing. Even the cool gear doesn't make me want to grind any further where I'm at. I'm not even at max power level.
Yeah, it's like once you get that gear, what's...
I mean, I realize I need to be max power level to do the raid, but then again, doesn't the raid level up with you as you go?
Yeah, the raid scales to... Well... No, it doesn't.
The raid doesn't scale?
The higher power you are, the easier the raid is.
Okay. So when you go in as like 305, the enemies aren't 305?
No.
Okay.
It's if you're playing prestigious, then they're 300.
Because I didn't struggle in the raid at like, what am I, 280 something?
I think the raid's like 260.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than to do the prestige raid, do I really even have a reason to rank up all the way?
No.
That's what I mean. I need like a really good reason to want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I don't really care about progressing any further.
Yeah, like people aren't running the raid anymore because what's the point? Because you're not, like... It used to be you would, like, the raid gear would have raid perks on it, and that would make doing the raid easier. And that's why people kind of chase that gear, is because they enjoy doing the raid, and if they can get pieces of armor that, I don't know, when you punch a Scion, you get, like, heavy ammo or something, like your gloves. Like, there's just no incentive to do any of the stuff in the game right now. Besides just having cosmetic gear and stuff.
Kratos Revenge, Vault of Glass.
Oh, yeah.
Best
that was
sniper.
The sniper, yeah. But, yeah. Seasons in Destiny.
Good times. Cool, man.
Cool.
Let's talk about PUBG a bit. I played PUBG last night with Preston on a live stream, and we had a pretty good time. We rolled with Mr. Maybe.
Mr. Maybe.
And the best match we played, we were in the top 6. It was 3-on-3 at the end. I think it was 3-on-3. It may have been us 3 versus 2 people versus 1 person. I don't know, because I think at the end we got shot from 2 different directions, you mentioned.
Yeah.
But we made it to the top 6, and we took our Jeep and parked inside a little shack, and we had windows surrounding and we're just above our heads so we could crouch and kind of see where people were coming. We had a great view of everyone around us, and I think
someone like throw a grenade in there?
No, surprisingly no. But we talked about doing like killing ourselves if we needed to. Like if we got surrounded and didn't want to be humiliated by getting shot, like we'll just drop a grenade in the middle of here. But Mr. Maybe, I think there's like 8 or 9 people left. There's a guy up on a cliff just trying to hide behind a tree, and Mr. Maybe popped in and got him. And me and Preston were kind of keeping watch. And finally, I can't remember why we left the shack. Why did we leave the shack? Oh, the circle was closing. Yeah, it was the final circle closing in on us. So like, all right, we got to leave. So we pop out, and of course, someone's shooting at us. I have no idea we're getting shot. Mr. Maybe's like, 3 o'clock northwest. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And Preston's like, ah! Everyone's shooting at each other. I'm just sitting there not knowing what to do. I think Mr. Maybe went down first. I'm trying to revive him. And we all get shot at the end, but made it into the top 3. That's the farthest I've ever made it in PUBG.
What kind of terrain were you guys on?
Were you
Like
elevated?
on a hill.
Yeah, there was a hill above us. They had the high ground.
Yeah. So I had a UMP with no sight on it, and I killed one guy pretty far away, but that gun was useless at that point.
So we kept dying in the stupidest ways, and it was so frustrating because we'd start a match and get amazing weapons. And there was one match where I had I think it was called the VSS. Is that the silenced sniper rifle?
It is, yeah.
So I had a suppressed sniper rifle with 90 rounds. I'm like, I am good to freaking go, man. And we're in a car driving. I'm in the back seat. And Preston and Mr. Maybe are up front. All of a sudden, we get someone shooting at us from behind. We're like, Mr. Maybe starts swerving. Preston's like, I'll take care of him. And just turns around, just like blast through the back seat, kills me instantly, shoots me in the face. And I fall out dead, and they end up getting killed as well by the people shooting at us. It was so annoying.
Even aiming, my crosshairs weren't even close to him.
Yeah,
I think it was just because I was in the back seat. Yeah. I guess his head was the first thing.
So funny.
Yeah, shooting out of a moving car is not easy in any case. Yeah.
I just wanted to at least fire at them so they would maybe take cover or stop shooting at us or something.
Right.
I don't know. We were screwed anyways. They were gonna kill us.
I found that driving in that game is kind of risky because you're just making so much noise and driving out in the open.
I'm surprised at how easily you get killed in a vehicle too. I mean, I have a few hilarious stories just from last night alone from playing PUBG. That's what's so amazing about it, is that you can play 3 matches and have like 10 stories to tell. But another silly death was when we again had amazing weapons right at the beginning of the match, and we go across this giant bridge to get to the circle. We're running, the coast is clear. All of a sudden, Preston and Mr. Maybe are up ahead of me. Someone starts shooting at us, and we have no idea where it's coming from.
With a crossbow.
Yeah, with a crossbow. I think Mr. Maybe got shot in the face right at the beginning with the crossbow. We're like, oh my gosh. Mr. Maybe goes down, and we're all freaking out. I'm like, where's he shooting from? Mr. Maybe's like, I think he's shooting from in front of us. So I take cover behind this big truck, and I see them just getting destroyed by someone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they just died. So I think I'm safe behind this big truck, and all of a sudden just someone runs up right behind me and slaughters me from behind. He was behind us the whole time, and we had walked right past him and didn't notice him. So that was embarrassing. I'll do the last embarrassing moment, then I'll talk about our successful moments. So the last embarrassing moment was we were in a vehicle again, in a Jeep, and all of a sudden people started shooting at us from a house over to our right. We're like, oh, let's stop. There's a couple of rocks. I think we had a couple of vehicles at that point. I think we had 3. Was that our convoy moment?
No, we had a point where we had 3 Jeeps and a convoy just rolling down the streets together.
Yeah, there was a point where there's a naked man in the middle of the road running around like a caveman, like a Neanderthal. And we're like, let's run this guy over. And we ran him over. And at first it knocked him out, so he was on his hands and knees. And we started doing donuts around him. Mr. Maybe came peeling in and ran over him. It was Preston that ran over him. So that was pretty funny. And the same match, I believe, we pulled up on this house and they were shooting us. We got out and took cover behind the cars. And it was actually a pretty exciting firefight. It felt like, I've never been in a real firefight, thank the Lord. But, if you played paintball before, it can be pretty nerve-wracking if you're like behind some cover and there's like paintballs flying past your head. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing a paintball reference right now, but that's what it felt like. PUBG, if you die, you're dead. And we'd lived for quite a while. And we had great weapons, so I wanted to survive. That's kind of like the stakes that we had. So bullets are flying, and I'm like trying to shoot my crossbow and like shooting into the back of the truck, so I can't get my crosshair over the edge of it. But we have this pretty lengthy firefight for like 2 or 3 minutes, and Preston's like, I have some smoke grenades. Why don't we throw some smokes and get in close? We're like, good idea. So Preston throws the smoke grenades. We move in all tactical like. I'm like, this is so cool right now. And of course, by the time we get to the house, the people inside had cleared out and gone behind these logs essentially behind the house. And we tried to go in the back door.
That's not what happened.
Was it not what happened?
No,
because I got killed from a guy behind logs.
Yeah, I saw how he got there.
How did he get there?
He jumped out of I saw him jump from the attic behind us.
Did he?
They essentially stopped shooting, and we thought we were being sneaky, but they were watching us the entire time go around the house, and he was up in the attic, and the second we went around the house, him and his friend jumped from the attic and landed right behind us and just unloaded on us.
Man,
so it looked like they were waiting, but I saw him jump out of the
high ground. Yeah, that's even worse, man. Yeah, we got slaughtered.
Yeah.
So, we all had a couple kills. The only cool moment I had by myself last night was I had to edit a video to like 7:30 in the morning. And while I was exporting, I'm like, I might as well jump into PUBG for a quick match. So I jump in. I made it to the top 11 this time. And when I was in the top 11, I had reached one of the final circles. And there was a little one of those little shacks on a cliff. And I had my Jeep. And I pulled up near the shack. I'm like, maybe I should park my Jeep a little further ahead, see if I can bait someone into trying to get into it. So I park it about 30 yards from the shack, and I go and hide in the corner of the shack. I'm just sitting there for 5 minutes. Nothing's happening. all of a sudden I hear a vehicle pull up, and I'm on a cliff, and there's a cliff even behind me that's even higher. So you hear someone on a cliff pull up in like a dune buggy or something and just stop because they know someone's probably nearby. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, what is this guy going to do? I'm expecting to hear footsteps of him running around, maybe coming towards my Jeep or my area. I don't hear anything. So I'm like, okay, that guy's definitely waiting for me to come out. He probably knows I'm here. So I finally get the courage to come out of the hole. And as soon as I step out, bullets start flying and hitting all around my feet. I'm like panicking. Ah! So I run around the side of the shack, and he couldn't really see me after I went back in. I kind of went back in and out around this other end of it. So he couldn't see me, and I used Mr. Maybe's advice of leaning around a corner where I think it was like the Q key or something, where I lean, and it just happened to be perfect the way I leaned.
This is his advice, just to lean?
Yeah, because remember, he's like, you can lean around corners, because normally I would just like move my whole body. I was unaware you could actually lean around corners, so I do that, and as soon as I lean, in first person view, my crosshair just happened to be right on this guy's head hiding behind a tree. Just a little bald head just sticking out right behind a tree. Popped him once, one bullet hit him in the head and killed him instantly. It was awesome. It was the only cool tactical kill I've had in PUBG, and I died minutes later. So
excellent.
And I died by trying to run over a guy with my car, and he shot me, and I flew out the front windshield. So vehicles are a death sentence, man. But PUBG's exciting. Speaking of which, have you guys seen images from the new desert map?
I have.
What do you think about this? I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's like a crash plane. There's a bunch of like caverns to go hide in. There's different looking buildings. Big desert, open desert areas. I heard it's inspired by Mexico specifically. So I think it looks like a lot of fun. And the vaulting system apparently feels really good as well. I was reading about it on PC Gamer, where you can sprint at full speed and jump through a window and then run across the room and leap over a fence and whatnot. So they said it feels pretty smooth. Said you have to get used to it. It doesn't feel quite as intuitive as you'd like it to be, but they said once you get the feel for it, it feels really natural in the game.
Great.
And it needs that desperately, because there's been so many times I try to jump like over a teeny little picket fence and I can't do it, and it gets me killed.
Yep.
So, and it's cool that you can climb in windows now instead of having to always go through a door.
That is cool. That'll open up possibilities for infiltrating houses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, it'll make it scarier for when you are everybody's huddled up in a house. You can't just watch the doors.
Yes, I would love that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play that a bit tonight for fun.
Okay.
I mean, I have a couple things I could play tonight. I miraculously don't have a whole lot to do tonight.
Yeah, don't worry about Persona 5. You never need to play it.
That's the thing, man. If I get into that, I have to commit to it. Same thing with Divinity.
That'd be good.
Like, part of me says, like, jump back into Divinity. But I don't want to get locked in because of all these other games that are coming out at the end of this week. So, can't risk it. But we have a few community questions concerning PUBG, Fortnite, and just Battle Royale game types in general. First one comes from Irish Ninja. He says, PUBG recently hit 2 million concurrent users, breaking its own record on Steam. We have already seen Fortnite implement a Battle Royale game mode, and now news from Crytek on Hunt Showdown. Do you think the popularity / phenomena of PUBG and BR game modes has caught the attention of other larger publishers / developers, and that they themselves might try to compete and create Battle Royale styled gameplay as well?
Absolutely.
I think they certainly will.
Yeah.
I saw a wee bit of the Hunt Showdown thing. I think it was an IGN First thing I watched. I didn't really pay attention. I had it on in the background, so I didn't really pay attention to it. I was actually unaware that it was a Battle Royale type thing.
From what I read, and I just read one article about it, you're in this world and you have to hunt these creatures, and you have to get out of the area with these bounties to be rewarded for them. And other players can fight you and take the bounties as well from you.
I just thought of something really cool. That does sound cool, by the way. What if Call of Duty did something like this? Like, think about Call of Duty. You can pick up a weapon and they have attachments in their game. And I know Call of Duty doesn't do health. Well, World War II, I think, might have health in this game.
Single player.
Yeah.
It does.
I guess not multiplayer, but if they added a mode where 100 players drop into a match, not only does it have the amazing mechanics of Call of Duty in a shooter, but you can run around and pick up, I found a Thompson. I can find that. I know it's funny in the World War II game where you have red dot sights and stuff, but I found a red dot sight in this random shack or something, or a magazine barrel or something for my gun. That might be kind of cool.
A magazine barrel?
I don't even know what I meant to say. I was going to say magazine, and I was going to say barrel, and then I combined the two by accident. Okay. But you know what I mean. Just like attachments like that as you go could be kind of fun doing it in first person. Maybe back in the day when you could drive vehicles in Call of Duty, that'd be kind of cool, like Call of Duty 3. But
I don't think
maybe it'd make more sense in Battlefield, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd see Battlefield doing it before Call of Duty.
I think so too. I think it'd be awesome. I'd love to see like a AAA developer, especially a first-person shooter, try to do that.
Either like a Ghost Recon Wildlands or Division. I feel like those two games could have a game mode like that, and it would make sense.
And you got to question, they'd all have to in some way, shape, or form make it their own, because then that game mode, as fun as I think it is still, because I'm still fairly new to it. I've barely played PUBG. I've barely played Fortnite. So for me, it's still very fresh. Now, I know there's a lot of veterans of PUBG that still love it just as much as they did when they first started playing. But you got to imagine if a bunch of publishers, a bunch of developers start implementing that. I'm not saying that they will, but let's say they did implement that style of gameplay. You'd imagine it'd get pretty stale pretty quickly. Like Fortnite,
going to.
Yeah, Fortnite I think is great, but even with the building mechanics, I still don't think it stands enough on its own compared to PUBG. I know it looks totally different, it feels different, and the building can be very unique. I mean, I watched Lemon do it when we were doing our Fortnite stream the other night, where someone will have wood and just build a ramp as they sprint into the sky up a ramp, and then quickly build a platform, and they'll just be up in the air shooting people. Now, I have seen someone do that, and when I watch, because someone had killed me, and what I do like about Fortnite is when you die, whoever killed you, if you're by yourself, you can watch their progress after they've killed you to see how far they make it. And especially if you make it towards the end of the match, it's even more exciting, especially if there's like 4 or 5 people left. And I watched a guy do that ramp technique where he runs up into the air and creates a platform in the sky. And I guess he did it out of the wood. I don't know if you can, I guess if you'd done it out of brick or something, it would have lasted longer. But he built it out of wood. He was shooting people and he killed someone. I was like, wow, that was so cool. I never thought to do that in the game. That actually is a cool way to implement the building portion of the game. But someone shot the platform and he fell like 1,000 feet to his death. So I was like, that was pretty cool to watch. So
you can shoot the buildings.
Yeah, you can destroy them.
Okay.
So
I know you can like use your axe to.
That's why you want to garner like a ton of metal and brick and stuff to build stronger fortresses. But I'd still love to see a way where the fortresses have a bit more time to manifest, because by the time you reach the end, it's just so fast-paced and intense that you really don't have a lot of time to build anything that special. We did have one pretty cool shootout where we were in a little mini fortress we had built, and then across a big pond was another fortress that someone had built. We were shooting back and forth for a while, but of course another squad came up behind us and ruined the fun. But a couple moments like that were cool. But I don't know. I'd like to see other publishers try it, certainly.
Yeah.
I think the quality and the way Battlefield feels, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. I think it'll be harder than we're making it out to be, because it's not as easy as just tweaking a few things and implementing like just a new
we'll just throw it in there.
Yeah. You have to make this pretty big space. You have to, did the different mechanics of you have to have a health system. At least I just think having a Call of Duty regenerative health thing just doesn't fit.
Totally
game mode at all.
I think I was in the back of my mind somewhere in my subconscious. I was trying to say Battlefield, but for some reason I was thinking Call of Duty at first.
The Call of Duty, just the gunplay would be fun.
Yeah, but Battlefield does make more sense because you do have health. There are, I mean, everyone would have to be, I guess they would eliminate classes. You'd just be a soldier with a gun, and you could pick up health kits and stuff that were laying around. Like the same kind of health kits you'd throw out if you were playing as a medic. But you could find them and they'd heal you and stuff. And maybe you could find a weapon that gives you a syringe. You can heal your buddies or something, or heal yourself.
What about For Honor?
That could be really awesome.
Instead of finding guns, you're finding just different like melee weapons.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
You couldn't imagine 90 people in For Honor just all battling in a war.
I don't know if the game could handle that many people.
It would be much less smaller
group
of people. How fun would it be? Well, not fun. How interesting would it be in PUBG if there were no guns, just melee weapons for one match? That would be
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Man, just pretty much everybody would probably live until the very end. Just a massive free-for-all battle with frying pans and sickles.
I wonder if you could break the game just by like having everyone, if there's a way to communicate just everyone to meet in the middle of the map and just pickaxe each other.
Out, man.
That'd be fun.
You'd probably break the game.
Maybe.
Yeah, if anyone was going to take a stab at it, I'd like to see what DICE could do with Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
That has potential to me. I don't know if you could do it with 100 players. You'd have to make like a brand new map to fit 100 players.
I mean, you don't have to do 100 players.
Yeah, even if it did like the 64.
Yeah.
That'd be fine too.
it'd be, faster matches, less people. Yeah.
So, but Glorious Lemon asks, with the most recent hype associated with multiplayer online battle royale game modes like PUBG and Fortnite Battle Royale, what do you guys think these games are? Why do you guys think these games are quickly gaining popularity, not only to play but to view on Twitch/YouTube? I personally believe it was the memorability of each game's unique situations, especially in top 10 situations when I am literally shaking from adrenaline. Excuse me. I think that's exactly why is what he said. It's just like I had how many stories I told just from playing for a few hours last night from PUBG.
Yeah.
So, and even in Fortnite, I had a couple stories to tell, and we played only a few matches. So it is those situational moments that you hang on to, and that's what keeps me coming back, because it's like those moments where you're very tense. You don't know if you're going to make it out of there, and
it's fun to watch other people play as well. I'm not a big Twitch watcher or Let's Play watcher or whatever, but I've watched a few streams of PUBG just because crazy things can happen, and every match is drastically different for the most part, so it's entertaining.
I still want you to watch, I'll show it to you before we head out today, that clip from Kotaku's highlight reel of PUBG with this person screaming.
Okay. I saw that.
Yeah.
The video you sent me.
Yeah. That was so fun. And it's the funniest thing when they're screaming bloody murder, and as soon as they get hit in the head, it just cuts off. They're dead. It's amazing. So yeah, moments like that are exactly why it's so popular. And it's the unpredictability too, especially in PUBG, because it's still so glitchy. Like just watching a vehicle launch 1,000 feet into the air for no reason is so funny.
Yeah, the jank.
Is that what it's called? The jank?
That's what, forgive me, I'm trying to remember.
The jankiness of it.
Yeah, it's janky.
It is very janky. Game. I think that's why it's so charming too. I almost hope they don't patch that kind of stuff out, because it's so funny. I don't know. But I think that's totally why. It's just unpredictable, and even the moments I've experienced are exactly why I keep going back to it. Zinian27 says, hey guys, PUBG has been discussed between several people on YouTube and what'll happen with the game in the span of a year. How it'll run, look, new maps, mechanics, etc. And some even speculate that I can hardly read this text. I need like better lighting in here. It's so dark. And some even speculate that it, as H1Z1, DayZ, and other overly hyped early access games, will die within that time. What are your thoughts, and what would you like it to be? So I guess he's asking, how would you like to see games like this evolve? And do you think, like PUBG, for example, will survive longer than H1Z1 and DayZ?
Yeah. Just, I think, due to it being immensely more popular than those games, first of all. I don't really know how I'd like to see it evolve. It seems like for this type of game, they're doing everything that they need to do. I guess just clean up the jankiness.
Yeah. I mean, what you could do is just little things that build off what you already have. I mean, new maps are obviously already a big one. New maps, new environments, maybe some new weapons. I think new vehicles would be cool. Like, for example, maybe on the snow map I'm dreaming of, you could ride around in a snowmobile.
Yeah.
It does nothing different than any other vehicle, but it's cool to be like, I'm on a snowmobile right now.
Yeah. So maybe some destructible environments.
I would love that.
Do you imagine if a team's hiding in a house and you found a rocket launcher?
Just blew out a wall?
Oh,
that'd be so cool.
That'd be pretty fun.
That's another reason why I want it to come to Battlefield. I think it'd be so cool. There's moments like that could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So, as far as evolution is concerned.
That could be Battlefield's little separate thing that makes it different.
Totally. Yeah, I'd like that.
I know Fortnite kind of does that. But
I think it'd be cool, too, if there's just maybe one plane on a Battlefield map and someone picks up the plane. Then again, it could be totally unfair to other people. So maybe you'd have to keep it just to land vehicles.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll totally last longer. One, it's sold how many copies? What is it, like last time we checked, like 15 million or something?
Million,
that's incredible. So as far as popularity concerned, it'll definitely
just the concurrent players.
Exactly. And it's slowly making its way to Xbox One.
Beyond what H1Z1 or DayZ ever was.
Yeah. So. Be on Xbox soon, and eventually on PS4. Now I'm talking just about PUBG. I mean, even Fortnite's killing it right now. Yeah. So I know they have over 10 million players. I know that's not concurrent, but it's also doing very well. So again, I just hope, like PUBG Corp said, we hope that whoever takes this game mode makes it their own. Yeah. So I still think Fortnite can do a million more things to make it its own.
I wonder if it'll be kind of a hero shooter situation where everybody was making hero shooters. That seems to have died. Like, I wonder how long, but people are still playing Overwatch.
Right.
So I wonder, if PUBG will kind of be the Overwatch of this situation, and everybody that's trying to copy it or whatever is just called a a copycat and they don't really catch on. But I guess the thing that disproves that is Fortnite, because it's immensely popular right now.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Jacob? You want to see any evolutions to these games? So we talked about like new maps, new vehicles, new weapons.
Yeah.
But anything beyond that? Preston said destructible environments could be cool.
Yeah. Like if Battlefield were to do something like that, that's definitely something they would do.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. I think that'd be super cool.
I don't know. They're not really my kind of games, so I don't really have a lot of insight.
I understand that.
I've never really thought about ways to make them better because they just don't really appeal to me.
Really?
As much as other things, yeah.
What were you doing last night? Were you at work when we were streaming?
Yeah, I was at work, then I came home, and then I went to Evan's house.
You didn't tell me.
You were busy.
I would have come over.
No, you were.
That's true. I had to edit a video. If I didn't have that video, I would have come to see you guys. We got to figure out what we're doing tonight. I really want to spend some time with you, Jacob.
Yeah.
If Evan can't hang out and we can't do fun stuff like that, maybe you and I can go see Blade Runner.
Okay.
I really want to see it again.
Okay.
Seriously, let me know.
Okay.
I will go with you.
I will.
Cool. Glorious Lemon's back for one more. He says, do you prefer PUBG or Fortnite Battle Royale? I personally prefer the faster pace and greater ability to make outplays in Fortnite Battle Royale due to the building mechanics. Have you played Fortnite yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm the only one at the table who's played both then. Okay, as of right now, I like PUBG more only because I have hardly played either of them. I mean, PUBG is still, I think I've maybe played a total of 10 to 15 matches of PUBG. I could be a little off there, but I haven't played that much. So I'm still discovering things you can do in PUBG and still exploring the world, the map, I should say. I don't even think I've even used all the weapons in PUBG yet. And I like how PUBG, I like the more tactical approach of PUBG where there's a weapon, I can find attachments for it, I can find different pieces of armor that may protect me more or less. The health packs and everything. I know there's health packs and stuff in Fortnite, but Fortnite's a little more bare bones to me. It looks pretty, it runs better, but and the building, of course, is unique. But as of right now, I'm still having more fun in PUBG. It always feels a little more tense in PUBG, and I like the more grounded feel of it as well. And Fortnite is much more fast-paced, I've noticed, too. The map's a little smaller. But I just like how big and the map feels in PUBG and how tense and horrified I am the entire time.
Is big always better?
No, it's not. That's just for me as of right now. That's what I like about PUBG. It feels bigger. It lasts a little longer. I like the grounded approach. I like being tactical. And like the tactical battle, we shoot out even though we died horribly with those people in the house. That was fun. And like when I popped around that shed and shot the guy in the head, that was really cool. I know these are all things you can sort of do in Fortnite, but as of right now, I'm leaning more towards PUBG. But cool. Things may change over time. I don't know. We'll see. Excited for that desert map. Gentlemen, how do you feel about the new E3 logo?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to miss the old one, I got to say.
I don't like the old one.
You don't like it?
No.
All right, well, fuck you.
Yeah, I think it's just classic. You know, it's just that's what I think of when I see E3. So
yeah,
I'm not really nostalgic about it.
I'm glad I got to go to E3 for my first time, which was the last year they used the classic logo. Mm-hmm. So everything on here and out is that brand new flat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
that's just the way
minimal logo.
Everything's looking nowadays.
Yeah, kind of like our logo. Ours is flat, not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any dimensions to it. It's just the text.
It's just the text. Yeah. So, and I think the colors are a little slightly different too. It used to be like a really bright red and yellow, and now it's more of like a darker shade of red and yellow.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like, I don't know, I'd have to look at it again. It wasn't mustard yellow, was it? Or like brown mustard yellow?
I don't know. We're looking a little bit too deep into
So it's not McDonald's.
This is serious business, guys. This is E3 we're talking about. It's a flagship event of every summer. Yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess. Whatever.
Sure. Is that a little news nug?
Yeah, that's a news nug. Nintendo 4.0 update, is that live right now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I haven't downloaded it yet. But here's a few of the details.
Wow.
Video capture for select games, I think it's up to 30 seconds. You can count on me recording some fun gameplay clips from Mario Odyssey.
It's only in certain games right now.
I assume it'll be in Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like basically all the big Nintendo games.
It makes total sense in Zelda, too.
Yeah.
Because I think I've had so many funny moments where I'm on a cliff, just walking around, and all of a sudden a goat runs up behind me and like knocks me down a mountain, kills me. And even to the point where I'm falling so far that my fairies can't keep me alive because I keep just dying over and over again.
You just keep falling.
It drives me crazy, man. It's so funny, though. I can't help but laugh.
I wish it was I could record longer because I think it'd be cool like to post a boss fight on Twitter or something. But you can only do 30 seconds, so.
For now.
Yeah. For now.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Yeah, for those little moments, especially in how audiences are now, especially on YouTube and Twitch nowadays. Everyone really wants it's like bite-sized nuggets a lot of the time. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, like those really analytical heavy videos, or even watching, like you said, a full boss fight. But even like little moments like from Odyssey, if you do something really cool or exciting, it's only 30 seconds. It's like nice little bite-sized chunk to get. But I'd like to see more too. I think it'd be cool to see. Like I loved when we played Bloodborne, one of the first things I did was record the entire cleric beast fight and throw it on Facebook, so I was so proud. First time I played a game like that, I was like, look, I beat a boss, and threw it on Facebook. But yeah, we'll see. It'll probably evolve over time. That's a cool little treat, though. I like that.
Yeah.
New profile icons featuring characters from Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I changed mine to Cappy, the white Cappy.
Oh, did you?
Like the white top hat. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I'm still Yoshi, I believe.
Yeah.
I like my Yoshi icon.
I got bored of my boring Star Fox emblem. But now I'm Cappy.
Great. Transfer user profiles and save data to another system. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, still no cloud save.
That would be ideal, for sure. Pre-purchase option is available for certain games on Nintendo eShop for Nintendo Switch. So I guess this means if you pre-order a game, you can go ahead and download it, and it'll just be playable. Kind of like on PlayStation, Xbox, it'll be playable when it launches.
Either that, or you can just buy it.
Okay. So pre-purchase.
Yeah, you just buy it before it's like pre-order.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so you can just already have it, and as soon as the game launches, you can just start playing.
No,
is that what that means?
Preloading.
That's preloading.
Yeah, that's pre-purchase.
So what do you mean by pre-purchase?
Pre-purchase is you just buy it.
And before the game even launches, you just have it?
You just have it.
That's a thing?
No. Pre-purchased, from what it sounds like, preloading is when you download the game before it's released. And the second it's released, the game unlocks and you can play it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's not pre-purchase. No. So what is pre-purchase?
You just can buy it. You can pre-order it before it's out.
So isn't that what preloading is? You have to buy it to download it, don't you?
Preloading is actually downloading it. Pre-purchase is just buying it.
So I bought that game, but it's not going to download until it launches.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get why they wouldn't just do preloading as well.
I don't know
because I don't know if the Switch can do it.
I guess not.
Maybe.
Interesting. Well, that's not very exciting.
I don't think any of us have
especially if it's digital, why do you have to pre-purchase anything?
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
But that's the thing, is that it's called preloading. So unless they're just using a term that's not correct. What I mean. Yeah.
That would make more sense to me.
I preloaded Shadow of War and stuff, and that's the first game I preloaded. I didn't even do it on PS4 ever. I just had the physical copy.
I preloaded something not too long ago on PS4.
Was nice. It unlocked like a night early on Steam.
Oh, I did that with Lawbreakers. So. That's what I did. And it's cool when you preload it. It has like an actual counter, and like as soon as it goes all the way to 0. So
it's been the biggest waste of money I spent this year.
Lawbreakers. Did you do? I hate to say it. Me too, man.
There were 10 people on the other. Did you read
no.
that? It was an article. There was at one point only 10 people were on. 10?
Is that on PC or across all platforms?
Oh, it was on PC on Steam.
Oh my gosh, dude. Done.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's the thing is, I like Lawbreakers.
Me too.
Lawbreakers
it was fun.
It was a fun, cool game. But
I take back what I said. I didn't waste my money.
I played it for like 20
I wasted my money in the sense that I don't have an interest to go back, but I don't think it's a bad game. I'm just too invested in other stuff.
I'll let you get me excited for that game because you were talking about how much you wanted to play it.
That's the thing. I will not lie. I enjoyed my time with it. I gave it a very high review too, and I reviewed it. I do think it's an awesome game, but there's just so much other stuff out, and when I have time to play games, which is very rare, I prefer to play those other games. So,
I mean, Lawbreakers was the first shooter in a while that actually got me hooked for a few days, where I actually was going out of my way to play it. So, fun gameplay. Apparently, there was a patch for it. They're adding in new characters or whatever. Yeah. And I was reading some Steam reviews, and they're very negative right now because they changed a lot of things. You start out with much more health. There's regenerating health. So they messed with a few things, and people aren't happy with it right now. So all 10 people are very pissed off right now.
Man, that is devastating.
Yeah.
Poor Cliff.
Yeah, I guess he's going to go back to the restaurant business.
Is that what he did?
He owns a restaurant.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I mean, there's an interview that, what's that guy who cuts together the funny, awkward interviews of game developers and stuff?
Crocab?
Yeah, I think it was him. He did one of Cliffy B talking about Lawbreakers and stuff. And there's a the clip from Cliffy B after Gears of War was like long over with. He's like, I'm in the restaurant business now. So, I don't know. I feel bad, though.
Yeah.
So
that stinks.
I think he may have been denied by major publishers because apparently he went to all the AAA publishers and was like, I want to make another $1 billion franchise. And he was talking about Lawbreakers and no one picked it up. And that's why they did Boss Key. So.
Okay.
Sad story.
Well, it's not over yet.
It isn't yet.
Yep.
There's still 10 players.
There is.
At least as of the other night.
Yeah.
I wonder what that game averages now.
It reminds me of when I was
playing... They even had a free weekend, too.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened.
It reminds me of the days when I played Halo 1 on PC with the same, 15 people over the summer. And when it had been out for over 10 years at the time, but when I was playing it, there was the same 10 to 15 people on every day I would play it. And it was great. But maybe those 10 people like playing against each other over and over again in Lawbreakers. You never know.
If they can find a match.
Is that a full match?
I don't know if it is. I can't remember if it's 5 or 6
Destructoid.
players.
Lawbreakers dropped to a concurrent player count of only 10 players today on October 12th.
Could be 0 now for all we know.
That's wild.
It was only yesterday. The peak was 3,000. The free weekend was averaging around 1,000 concurrent players. Damn. But just on the 12th, after that weekend, it dropped below 100. And then the afternoon of the October 12th, it dwindled down to 10 players.
You got to think, with that few players, even with 3,000, the connections got to be bad. Because if only 3,000 people are playing around the world, odds are you're not playing near a lot of people a lot of times. So I don't know.
But they're hoping for a slow burn. So this is as slow as you can.
Yes, it is. Starting from the bottom, truly.
Yeah.
So
this will be quite the Cinderella story if they can get back on their feet.
I love a good Cinderella story. I'd love to see it happen.
And if you haven't played, well, I'm not going to recommend it because nobody's playing it. But it is fun.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
We had a couple moments on PC there together. Yeah. I even enjoyed my time on PS4.
I'll never forget you trying to stream that game and just having so many problems the first time you tried.
I have refined my my stream setup thanks to, was it Caleb who helped us out with the streams, or was it another gentleman? I'd have to double check. Don't think I've forgotten about you. I kept your notes saved in my thing in case I run into any more issues.
Somebody put a copyright claim on your E3 vlog video.
Which one?
The dreams do come true.
Oh, did they? That's weird.
The content is in Japanese writing. So
what do you think it's for?
I don't know.
Did you show some Mario stuff?
No, I didn't put any gameplay in my video.
Did you show their booth?
Maybe. Would that be copyright claim? Let me see it real quick, just out of curiosity. Dreams do come true. That is so strange.
You're gonna lose so much.
I'm trying to think of what it would be. Is it a song I used?
Maybe, probably. I don't know.
But it isn't a Japanese song I used. I don't know. It might be the song. I'd have to check into it later. That's funny. Anyway, I was originally going to read this entire article, but I imagine most of you have either read this yourselves or have already heard about it, so I'm not going to reiterate it too much. But Activision did file a matchmaking patent not too long ago, or at least it was filed in 2015 by an R&D team working independently from the game studios, according to Activision. Long story short, there's a patent filed where the matchmaking system would essentially throw a crappy player into a match with a very skilled player who, say, is using I'll just read this portion of it so you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a lot before it, but Activision basically said the matchmaking system would analyze player trends such as latency and weapon preference in order to place them in scenarios that might lead them to buy certain items. For example, microtransactions engine 128 may identify a junior player to match with a marquee player based on a player profile of the junior player. In a particular example, the junior player may wish to become an expert sniper in a game. Microtransaction engine 128 may match the junior player with a player that is a highly skilled sniper in the game. In this manner, the junior player may be encouraged to make the game-related purchases such as a rifle or other item used by a highly skilled sniper. So basically, it's a patent to influence people to spend money on these microtransactions. Long story short. So how do you guys feel about that? Cheeky says from the community, what do you guys think about the Activision patent? Can this hurt the industry and cause industry because more companies might follow? And I also want to throw in there that Deej from Bungie said that Destiny does not include this patent whatsoever.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about it?
Activision game does.
I mean, it's just a patent.
Right. It isn't like it's already implemented into a bunch of games. I heard someone make a good example of something about matchmaking that, aside from microtransactions, that I can't remember. It sounded like it was positive, but I'm not an entire expert in this whole situation. I don't have that much of an opinion, but I was just going to gather your thoughts, how you felt about it.
I don't think it's in good taste by any means. It seems like a pretty shady thing to do if they actually implement this kind of thing, but you know, me personally, I don't really care too much about this.
I think it's because I've never felt the need to purchase loot boxes in any game. The only reason I bought them in Overwatch is because I wanted to look cool.
I feel like the only thing that would negatively affect me is if it just got annoying. If you get killed by this guy and a message comes up on the screen, this guy that just killed you, you can buy this gun for $3.99. And
that would be
terrible. Spamming X to get through it.
Right.
But besides that, I don't know. I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care either. Maybe we're just so laid back that nothing affects us.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think that I'm not even talking about this instance in particular. I'm just so over the loot box thing right now.
Yeah, me too.
People are just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's a little out of control.
It's
I would say. I mean, we have more loot box stuff to talk about, not really deeply, but just EA's responded even more about the loot box thing.
I think
in Star
with
Wars.
Things like Battlefront, I think it's they deserve it. Well, the feedback they're getting.
You think so?
I don't think they're doing it right in Battlefront at all.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm not going to really give that multiplayer the chance I want to give it. I'm just going to play the story, I think.
I'm going to play the story, and I'm going to play the multiplayer. I'm not going to spend any money on the microtransactions.
Same with me.
I still think it's fun.
I just feel like if I don't, I'm going to be going in at a disadvantage. Not that everyone else.
I don't think it's that big of a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. I don't feel, when I hear pay to win, I feel like people are envisioning the other team with like BFG guns that they bought for, and they're just massacring the other team, and it's never like that. It's just like a slight advantage for the most part. I feel like the better player will still come out on top. Granted, we haven't played this yet, but
I just know there's like star cards for like the heroes, for example, that give you like unique abilities. And I feel like maybe if
the only one that threw me off was the Boba Fett ones. Like, you're invincible while you're flying through the air.
And I think that is a problem, just in terms, not even the loot boxes, just in terms of that
design and
as a progression system. Yeah. I think that things like that, there should be a goal, and you complete the goal to get that. So I think I do agree. I think that is a problem. If buying these crates without, let me restate this. If those crates existed and you couldn't even buy them with real money, I still feel like that would be a problem, because I just don't like a progression system with getting perks. All of that is pure luck. I think that is dumb, and I don't like that. I'm still probably going to play the multiplayer just because I think it's fun, but I'm probably not going to like that aspect of it. And at the end of the day, you can complain and complain and complain, bitch all day long, throw tantrums about these microtransactions. The only way to stop them are to not purchase them. If they keep happening, people are buying them. The free market literally solves this. If they keep implementing them, they're making money off of them. And you gotta be honest. They would be dumb not to keep implementing them, because they're making so much money. If they were sitting in a boardroom and this one guy is like, hey man, these YouTubers are really, wringing our necks over this. I really think we should consider not doing this. And the head guy is like, didn't we make like almost $2 billion last year? And some YouTubers complaining, and we have the minority is complaining about this. Like, we would be dumb in terms of like a business to not keep implementing these loot boxes. So until it's not worth it to them, they're not making enough money, and like the scrutiny is getting to them, so much that, they're going to keep doing it. So that's really all you can do. And I've heard arguments, don't buy Battlefront. Or buy Battlefront, but don't buy the microtransactions. I'm going to buy Battlefront because I think it's fun, and I think it sucks that all these people are putting in this hard work, and it's EA that's probably forcing these, microtransactions in on the game.
Yeah, the developers themselves are head over heels in love with what they create. I mean, it isn't like all the executives are the ones making the game. They're just the ones calling the shots.
So I don't know. I don't like. I still don't think we've gotten to a point where I've seen loot boxes that are absolutely egregious, where it's disgusted me yet.
I mean,
like Shadow of War, for instance, they're pointless. They're literally useless. Warner Brothers was it. You could clearly see they were just like, throw these in there. Just throw them in there. It doesn't match the game or anything. It looked like a last minute addition, but it does look like Battlefront was more its progression system is revolving around these loot boxes. But I think that is just a bigger problem itself, even without the microtransactions, like I just said. But in terms of this matchmaking system, I don't know. I've never even seen. I can't imagine you playing Call of Duty and somebody kills you with a rifle and then it says, "Want to pay $2.99 for the gun you just got killed with?" Yeah. I just can't see that happening.
No, I think that would be a very dark day.
If that happens, I think that would cross the line. I don't think as much as people think we've crossed the line, I still don't think we've crossed the line yet.
Mm-hmm. I won't deny that I feel like publishers are definitely trying to see how far they can go with it.
Oh, absolutely.
But which I can't blame them. Again, if they're making that money, their business, I can't blame them for that.
And I've heard that as an argument for Shadow of War. Mm-hmm. People saying, "Well, it's not there yet, but they're just testing to see." Okay, but until they get there, I mean, we can't do anything. Just don't buy the loot boxes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's important that we express too. Like, in a perfect world, I'd love if they didn't exist at all.
No, I would too. Absolutely,
that'd be great. But I mean, if they're going to exist, we have to acknowledge the reality of the fact is that they're making all this money. Like you said, the only thing you can do, completely ignore them.
And it's a give and take too, specifically with Battlefront 2. There's no Seasons Pass. Mm-hmm. EA gets a ton of crap for Seasons Pass. When Battlefront 1 came out, all they got was hate for their $50 Seasons Pass. And I don't really feel like getting into that if it's worth it or not. I don't feel like it's worth it just because I didn't like the game. Mm-hmm. I liked the game, but I didn't play it a ton, so I'm not going to spend $50 for a Seasons Pass for a game I rarely played. But they dropped the Seasons Pass. So this is a very high budget game, high budget writers, high budget acting, graphics that'll blow your head off. And it's still $60. It's still the same price as a game last generation.
Yeah, over 10 years ago.
Yeah. And there's no Seasons Pass. You're getting all these free heroes. You're getting all these new game modes. You're getting all these new maps.
And all the maps for free, yeah.
Exactly. So they have these microtransactions in place to still get a steady stream of income so they can put out this free content. The same thing happened with Halo 5. And we actually bought microtransactions for Halo 5. Granted, they were, purely cosmetics. They weren't really upgrading. But that, our purchase there contributed to everybody else getting these maps for free. So they're kind of screwed if they do or they don't with the Seasons Pass. No Seasons Pass. Yay, microtransactions. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're doing a Seasons Pass next year, but there's no microtransactions. Oh, fuck you, you money grubbing bastards. Yeah. Like, they're in a win-lose situation.
And people have been asking this question, and if a game was $100 and completely eliminated Season Pass and microtransactions, would you pay for $100 games?
It depends, though. I would have gladly paid $100 for, like, The Witcher or a Bethesda title.
I think in the grand scheme of things, I paid over $100 for The Witcher, including the DLCs and stuff.
I mean, the Seasons Pass was like $30.
Yeah, so close to $100.
Close to $100. So, yeah, but I've heard people say, I would do that too, but I guarantee you the second a publisher releases a game for
$100, people would lose it, man.
Like, it's, yeah, okay.
I think it'd be all in the messaging if they made, let's say if someone was bold enough to make this decision, like, let's say a Cyberpunk 2077. This game is $100, but actually, let me use a better example, like the next Battlefield that has multiplayer and stuff in it as well. We have a story campaign, we have multiplayer, and we're going to give you all free DLC going forward, but the game at launch is $100. And here's why. We won't have a Season Pass, we won't have microtransactions.
But that pretty much is the Season Pass included in the game.
True.
So what you're getting for... then people would have said, well, we should have all of that for $60.
Right.
They're taking out of this part of the game and selling it to us as DLC.
Because that's the thing. We also don't know all the behind the scenes of the development process of the game. I know we know that millions and millions of dollars go into these games these days, and as games progress, of course, like you said, they get more technical and they're more powerful, and the graphics are insane. The way they perform is incredible.
And just the overall, like, think about game. We're getting freaking Kevin Spacey and Kit Harington to voice act in these games. You got to
imagine what their salary alone is.
Yeah, give them a few coupons to Burger King.
Here's a free copy of the game when it comes out.
Yeah, just the production value, and it's still $60. So
yeah, those are the things you have to consider. And I don't want anyone to think like, not that I really care what anyone thinks, because I know how we feel about it. But again, it'd be cool if they didn't exist. But in many ways, we can understand why they exist.
Yeah. And if they have them in a way, and I'm going to bring up Shadow War again, I think that's fine implementation. if that's the extent of how they're going to be in single player games, whatever. It doesn't affect anything. Granted, I haven't got to the end game where people say it's almost essential, but I'll believe it when I see
pumpkin,
it.
Man.
Yeah,
taking a beating.
For instance,
taking out our anger on the pumpkin.
Deus Ex Mankind Divided had microtransactions, and a lot of people I didn't even know Deus Ex had microtransactions until I even beat the game. You could buy like a Praxis kit, and I bought one. I spent 99 cents on one. I was speed running through the game for like my 5th time to get one of the trophies, and I had to go through an area where there was gas, and I needed an upgrade so I could breathe in areas with gas, and I needed one more Praxis kit. And I knew I had pretty much gotten all of them up until that point, so I just dropped $1 and got another one right there. So they got me, and I felt that was a fine implementation. If I didn't want to buy a Praxis kit, there are multiple other ways in that game to get around this particular, situation. Dang, this pumpkin, sorry. So I think them being implemented in that way, they're fine. So as long as in single player games we don't step past that threshold, I think we're fine. Mm-hmm. And if we do, we have to show these people or these big publishers that we don't like that, we don't want it, and we're not going to buy it.
Yeah, just talking about it obviously isn't enough. You just have to commit to not buying them. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that agree on this situation that are out making an outcry for this. I imagine most of them don't participate in purchasing them. Maybe it is the people that just don't say anything that buy all these loot boxes. I mean, you were talking about someone on I think it was Mr. Maybe talking about someone paying like $900 for a jacket or something, like in PUBG. It's insane. It's people like that are keeping it afloat.
Skins and stuff, they're buying them. I know those are but yeah, I'm sure it's the minority that's not. I mean, think of how many millions upon millions upon millions of people are going to buy Battlefront 2. They don't go to YouTube and discuss. They don't go to these forums. They don't go to these chat places to chat. They're not the ones complaining. They're probably playing Battlefront 2 and they get home from work and they're playing a match and they see, oh man, I really want another loot box. Sure, I'll spend $1, whatever. That's probably what the typical person that's buying these loot boxes does. So
I feel like everyone's just trying to, like, after seeing the success of something like Overwatch, maybe just seeing how they did their loot boxes, everyone's trying to kind of like, they see these games as services. Like, even if it is like a single player game, they want people to stick around. And they're just trying to, I guess they're trying to sell loot boxes to people to keep people around.
It's easy money.
Yeah.
Especially in these single player games where they're trying to get as much money out of them as possible. Because like Shadow of War, as far as I can see, it's not a service game. Right. You're going to buy it, you're going to beat it, and you're going to sell it back to Walmart. Or not Walmart, back to GameStop. So
I used to do that all the time.
They want to get the money from you as much as they can from you. And if them implementing this, if they make, like, let's say it can't cost a lot of money to implement this things, at least I think,
to implement microtransactions.
Yeah, like it can't cost that much money and it can't cost that many resources.
It's just the time it takes to create the things.
Yeah, so as long as they make a little bit more than it cost them to put it in there, then it's worth it to them.
And I think that's why it'll probably never go away, sadly, or at least not that I can imagine. Because even if, let's say, this is just theoretically speaking, this game cost $100 million to make. We made an extra $700,000 off microtransactions. That's still $700,000 they wouldn't have had they not had those microtransactions. So even if it's that small number in comparison to the greater scheme of things, that's still a profit. So
there's not a chance they're going away.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, it really does bum me out because I miss the good old days. Like, I always just harken back to Call of Duty 4, and that's the easiest example to jump back to. Just everything's in game, you unlock it by playing the game. That's super cool, but I mean, it sucks. I mean, that's what makes the world go round is money.
Back then it was unheard of to even have a DLC. Like, you just got the game and that was it.
Yeah, so I mean, I miss those good old days, but sadly, this is probably the future. And the only way, like we've said over and over and over again, is just not buy them. But that's probably impossible. Like you mentioned, there could be some just dude comes home from work. I'm going to drop $10. I want a couple loot boxes. I don't feel like grinding tonight. I mean, even that could happen. So
yeah. So Destiny got me. I wanted to look like a idiot dancing, so I spent like $5. So I'm part of the problem, I guess.
So yeah. Oh well.
But I think Destiny
it's disappointing, but. Speaking of EA specifically in Star Wars, they did continue their response. It's actually one of their developers from Motive that commented on the whole situation, all the backlash EA is getting for these loot boxes. And he gave some reassuring thoughts. I was going to see what you guys think about this. This one comes from Oscar Deus of GameSpot. And this is a quote from... like I said, one of the developers. It says, in an interview with GameSpot, EA said people's fears are understandable, at the same time as calling the accusations, quote, hard to dodge. Offering his take on the people's concerns, Chris Matthews, the art director at EA Motive, the team behind Battlefront 2's campaign, said, right now, there have been games that exploit players, and there have been games that have done it in better ways. He continued by saying that DICE has taken great care to make sure that star cards and the way they work give you more options in battle. Terms like pay to win and stuff like that are hard to dodge, but the guys are doing an incredible job of trying to balance that system. There's a little more in there. That was the basic synopsis. I know that's a very generic answer. Like, oh, they're doing their best to balance it.
Sounds like they're admitting they're doing it wrong.
Right. I know DICE said, oh, like the beta version isn't the final version of how these star cards are going to work. I don't know how much they'll evolve, but like we said, when I played the beta, I did not experience anything where I felt like I was overwhelmed or being fought against, or I felt like I was at an unfair advantage at any point.
It's also a beta.
Exactly, but I'm saying in the full game, that's where the real answers lie.
I think we need to kind of see how it works before, nobody's played the full version. This is all kind of speculation until we have the game before us. We don't know what changes they're going to make.
If you're on the fence, wait for a review to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
People need to stop feeling like they need to play something right when it comes out.
No, I agree.
Right. This is a community question from Sam Harris. Pertains to the conversation. He says, hey dudes, here's a quote from an article in the latest Game Informer magazine that I thought was interesting and want to know if you agree or disagree. This is from Matt Miller, senior previews editor. Quote, building in a money-making scheme in the midst of an otherwise great game design weakens the entire experience, harms immersion, and diminishes the broader meaning and strength of in-game reward systems, end quote. How do you guys feel about that?
Immersion's a good point. It totally takes you out of it if you're sitting there paying your own money for something.
No, I mean, I can see that with Shadow of War, whereas like I said, I'm going to these orcs and getting them.
Yeah.
And then, the immersion of being this Bright Lord and going around and turning these orcs to my side, or I could open up a chest and they're just popping up.
It's like a mobile game. You're buying orcs.
Yeah, exactly. So I can definitely see that. And if you can actually buy, which this isn't in Lord of the Rings, at least I think so, the best gear you have to earn, like for instance, the Bright Lord armor I'm getting, I have to actually acquire that. I don't think I can get that in the loot box. But if there is a point where if I'm playing Fallout and I can get the best power armor by just straight up paying for it, that takes away from the enjoyment of getting this gear if you can buy it. Like if you could just buy exotics with real money in Destiny, that would even if I earned mine, that would make it feel less important if I know that anybody could have just gone out and bought it. It doesn't make it feel as special. So yeah, I agree for the most part. I haven't seen anything like that in any games I've played though.
Yeah.
So. Speaking about Destiny, because you could pre-order Destiny 2 and get Cold Heart, that I guess it's an energy rifle. I don't really know what it kind of
like an auto rifle.
Yeah, it's like
But people are just like things with like that, because that didn't make sense what I just said. But what was I going to say, guys? I'm totally blanking.
Jacob, you look so good in that black t-shirt right now.
Like they could have created a quest around Cold Heart and made it compelling. None of the exotic quests in Destiny 2 are that great, but they could have,
and there's not enough,
right? Like they could have made something compelling quest line or a little story about the gun, but they just decided to give it away for pre-ordering to compel people to buy the game. Just stuff like that. People want more things to do in games, or just more reasons to buy a game, not just to purchase things in the game.
Well, for that instance, they wanted you to pre-order the game, and that's just a little. Especially that's the thing though, is I don't necessarily think that push somebody to buy Destiny 2. Oh, you're gonna get Cold Heart? Well, shit, I'm buying the game now.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna buy Destiny 2, you're gonna buy it. I think they just wanted you to just pay for it early, I guess. I don't know. So
yeah,
I don't really have.
It's a tricky.
I don't really have.
People get hung up on those pre-order rewards sometimes. I remember when Destiny 1 came out, you and I were working at GameStop at the time, and this kid, somehow his pre-order got messed up and he couldn't get his Sparrow that came with the pre-order.
Get the shitty weapons that you got from that pre-order that were obsolete after an hour of play.
Yeah, he was furious when he came into GameStop, dude. He's like, I want a refund. Like, I need to get that Sparrow. And I tried to tell him, I was like, dude, I've been playing Destiny for like a week now. I was like, that Sparrow does not matter at all. I was like, I promise you it doesn't matter. He's like, I want it. Freaking out. And like had an argument with our manager for about, I think, half an hour or something. They were just arguing about it. I don't know how they got out of that situation, but it was insane. So people get pretty hung up about that.
Yeah.
It may have been back for the cold hard.
Typically, from what I've seen, pre-order bonuses for the most part suck.
Yeah.
Like the Assassin's Creed Origins
bonus mission
is probably going to last.
Speaking of which,
minutes,
that ad is so funny.
Yeah, that's awful.
That is incredible. It reminds me how bad that EA or EB Games Advanced Warfare commercial is.
GameStop makes horrible commercials or trailers.
What? Like, I mean, yeah, they are so bad.
So bad, man.
Like, whoever animated that, it's probably like some student like in animation school. Like, hey man, like my cousin knows how to animate characters. He can do it for us. It's like the CEO's nephew or something.
Make it look awful. That's how bad it is.
Man, it was so terrible. I think that's what made it even worse. If it was like a half decent ad, it would look good. What you looking at over there?
Those before.
People just saying hey to me on PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I say hey to you on PlayStation.
It looked like a fake account.
Yeah, it did.
Like a chick.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, what are you wearing?
Yeah, I've had those messages.
Dude, I check my spam folder all the time, and I get the funniest messages.
Is there a spam folder on PlayStation?
No. Just in my email.
Oh, okay.
My spam email.
I get a lot of Viagra emails in my spam folder.
Viagra?
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's okay. You can tell us, Garrett.
No, you have a rip in your pop filter back there, Preston.
I know, I accidentally did that.
I'd love for us to invest in new pop filters and stuff when we get our inevitable new mixer at some point. It's not totally necessary, but our audio can go to much greater heights than it's at currently. That's something I strive for.
I got an email from Sarah saying, "Hi, is this Preston Mando?
Is this Preston Mando?"
Then I got one from Katrina saying, "Hey, if you don't want to talk to me, just say it." Sent from my iPhone.
What the fuck?
Then I got another one from Jessica saying, "Hi, can we talk?"
I've never checked my spam.
You haven't?
folder.
Oh, it's hilarious, dude. There's so many of these. From Jessica, "Hi, can we talk again?"
Whoa, who is this?
Caitlin, "Hi, can we talk now?"
Yeah, sure. What's up? Who is this?
Oh man, it's just a ton of "Hi, can we talk" nows. Yeah. Then Jessica said, I saw you last day, I knew it. I saw you last day, I knew it, ... Hi, we need to talk.
Someone tweeted at us so long ago about Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and we still get notifications from, I think, like random porn star accounts liking that tweet.
Hell yeah.
All the time. Like once a week, some porn star likes that tweet that was sent to us months and months. It might have been a year ago.
Fake
you think it's an actual porn star?
No. It's all fake accounts for sure, but it's always those same types of accounts. It isn't like a fake
porn
dentist
stars?
account that's liking it. I assume it's porn stars. It's always like some seductive girl in the image, like those little circle icons. I'm like, why do we keep getting
it's
notifications?
It's probably just fake, just bot accounts.
Oh, definitely
for
is.
sure.
Definitely
I highly doubt some massive porn stars liking our Assassin's Creed.
No. I don't mean it's actual porn stars, but someone tweeted us about Black Flag, and whoever sent that tweet, someone keeps liking their tweet. So good times.
Let's
move on here because I can't stay too much longer.
What do you have going on? You have to go to your dinner appreciation thing.
Yeah.
You got to cradle your boss's balls and flip some burgers.
Supposed to start around 6, but I was going to show up a little late anyway. But I don't want to be too late.
Yeah.
No, I don't want you to be late either. What time is it right now?
5.
Oh wow, cutting it close.
Yeah, we're running a little late.
Okay, let's talk about Battlefront 2's single player campaign real quick. This comes from Reese Puggett-Stew of NerdMuch.com. In a brief interview with Press Start, Motive studio producer David Rabillard. Rabillard? Is that how you'd pronounce that? Rabillard?
Sure.
Right here?
Sure.
It looks like Rabillard to me.
I guess.
Spoke about the single-player campaign of Star Wars Battlefront 2. He states that they aimed for a 5 to 7 hour campaign, explaining that this was a, quote, a good amount of time that wouldn't force the story or gameplay to be, quote, too drawn out.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about the length of that campaign?
It's exactly what I figured it was going to be.
Yeah, that's fine for me.
I mean, of course, I'd like it to be some Wolfenstein length 10-12 hour campaign probably, but
yeah, I mean that's solid for me. I mean, I see a lot of people complaining about the length, like, oh, it's actually probably only going to be 4 or 5 hours, but even if it is, I mean, as long as the storytelling is solid, the performances are great, and the gameplay is awesome, that's fine for me. I mean, of course, I wouldn't complain about it being longer, but I threw in a couple examples of single-player games that are short and sweet that have still stuck with me, that can be effective no matter how short they are. For example, I know a couple of them don't really have to do with Star Wars or shooters per se, but Limbo and Inside from Playdead were both short little indie experiences that from start to finish, even though they were short, still stick with me, and I still think about those games. So they can still be affected regardless of length. Super Hot, for example, it's a VR game that's short and sweet, and that one's awesome. Hellblade I haven't finished, but from everyone I hear that's played it, as short as it is, it also sticks with you. And a lot of people are saying, oh, it could potentially be Game of the Year material. That's another example of a single-player game that's short and awesome. Firewatch I really enjoyed as well. Journey and Injustice 2 especially, for a fighting game. That story was short but fantastic. So I don't think it's possible.
The difference between a lot of those games.
What's that?
So, a lot of those are not $60.
Are they not?
No. Hellblade's $30.
Oh yeah, well, Injustice is $60, but other than
besides that one,
I'm not even worried about price though either, because the reason why I'm not mad is because there's a ton of multiplayer in Battlefront anyway.
No, I think that's the reason. Yeah, the big draw to Battlefront.
It's $60 and it's a short campaign. Yeah, if it was only a campaign, of course I would be upset. I would be a little
regular
concerned.
length of a Call of Duty campaign. So, which those can be effective as proven with Infinite Warfare.
Exactly. So I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I was surprised to see how much backlash there were. I mean, it doesn't help that the loot box situation everyone's up in arms about. Yeah. So everyone's making jokes like, "Oh, you gotta pay for loot boxes to get the rest of the story and stuff." Yeah. So, oh well, guys. Visceral Games has shut down. Their Star Wars game that was in production has been moved to EA Vancouver or somewhere. I'm just gonna read through the EA Vancouver. I'm gonna just read through this real quick. This is from EA. Our Visceral studio has been developing an action-adventure title set in the Star Wars universe, said Patrick Sutherland, Executive VP of EA Worldwide Studios, in a post on EA's website. In its current form, it was shaping up to be a story-based linear adventure game. Throughout the development process, we've been testing the game concept with players, listening to the feedback about what and how they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we needed to pivot the design. The Untitled project will now be developed at EA Vancouver, which has already begun working on the game. Sutherland says it will maintain the stunning visuals, authenticity in the Star Wars universe, and focus on bringing a Star Wars story to life. Importantly, we are shifting the game to be a broader experience that allows for more variety and player agency, leaning into the capabilities of our Frostbite engine and reimagining central elements of the game to give players a Star Wars adventure of greater depth and breadth to explore. Notice the two big words there, broader and explore. However, as an unfortunate side effect of this change, Sutherland said that EA will, quote, EA will be ramping up and closing Visceral. It doesn't sound as if its entire staff will be laid off, as EA is in the midst of shifting as many of the team as possible to other projects and teams at EA. But this still marks the end for Visceral as we know it. Before I continue, the Flash 2189, Mr. Sam Harris says, breaking news! Well, not now, but you know. EA announced that Visceral Studio is being shut down. The studio is responsible for the Dead Space series and now shifted Star Wars, which was being directed by Amy Hennig, and is closing, and that's just sad. What are y'all's thoughts, and what do you think EA is starting to become, or do you think EA is starting to become the company that most gamers are going to hate even more? So let's just talk about the whole thing from start to finish here. Clearly, anyone who's even slightly a Star Wars fan was very excited for this game. Yeah. The three of us included. I was most looking forward to E3 next year because I was convinced we were going to see something from it at E3 next year. That's no longer happening. I'm most bummed just because I was, again, I wasn't that hung up on the Star Wars 1313 debacle back when Lucasfilm was bought by Disney or anything. But that's just another example of like, oh, we're going to get this awesome linear adventure in a Star Wars game. And then we had hope again with Visceral's game, and now that's also canned. So as far as Star Wars is concerned, that's what I'm most upset about. I mean, there's a lot to break down from this whole situation, but I'm always going to gather your very on-the-nose thoughts before we get really into the roots of it.
I mean, it just seems like EA isn't necessarily interested in linear single-player games as far as their main studios. I know they're helping publish like A Way Out, prison escape game with for the studio that made the Two Brothers Tale or whatever it's called. But in terms of like their main publishers, it just seems like they're kind of pushing them towards a, you know, persistent world where, you know, it's everlasting. It's not just a single player game that you can finish and it's done. I mean, Anthem's coming out.
Anthem, but Star Wars.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Destiny, but Star Wars.
Yeah. That makes me wonder what they're going to do about Respawn's game.
I know, that makes me horrified. That's what I'm holding out for even more.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll keep it going. But
it's terrifying.
I mean, it stinks. It all. I think this just gaming climate. EA is saying that these are the type of games that rack it in.
I can see why it's so funny, but I can see why some people see EA as like the ultimate supervillain in the industry. Like everyone thinks they're like the darkest, worst thing. I'm not trying to defend anything because I know they've had some weird business practices in the past or whatnot. But I mean, this situation, like you said, it in a lot of ways, as much as it sucks, it also makes sense. I read something that their single player games really don't sell that well anyway, and I guess they really want to.
I mean, their last.
When was the last time they made a really good one, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
So. I mean, the Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
Yeah, that was the last time one was like critically acclaimed.
And Dragon Age even had a multiplayer component, I believe, in microtransactions. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think anybody played it.
I guess they're just really doubling
Mass
down.
Effect
yeah, it did.
Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, it had a multiplayer component that you could buy stuff in, and we all know how that game overall, turned out. Yeah. Not a horrible game. I think it got a lot of I think it got a little... People exaggerated a little bit when it came to that game, but it definitely didn't live up to the pedigree of the original trilogy. But, I mean, their last big successful single-player game was probably Dragon Age. I don't even know how... I know critically it was successful, but I don't know commercially how well it did. But, yeah.
It's got to suck for the people at Visceral to have EA come and be like, all right, we're closing down the studio. Your game's moving to EA Vancouver. We're going to move half of you to NBA Live. We're going to move you guys to NHL. And you guys are going to do FIFA. It's like, I was working on Star Wars, and now I'm working on an NBA game. I don't know if they're going to literally move people to like all the different sports teams.
Or going to the... We're still working on this game.
Yeah,
maybe someone over to Vancouver. The Respawn. Maybe.
I would certainly hope
this game is next gen.
At this point, probably. Yeah, because I know originally they were pushing for 2019. It's definitely going to be beyond that now.
Oh, yeah.
So
makes you question how well the game was coming along too.
Yeah, that's the thing is we don't know what was going on.
We may never know what happened to it.
Yeah, I mean, I know from the outside people are like, oh man, EA just came in and just, kicked him in the stomach. We're taking this. We're putting microtransactions up its ass. But we don't know if this game was in bad shape or whatever.
Because all we had was that one little snippet of the guy in the trench coat walking out that door and the TIE fighters flying over. So,
and of course, after I believe one of the writers, he tweeted. He didn't specifically say what he was talking about.
Like, it was fun and funny and beautiful.
It was awesome. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know.
You know who's been surprisingly silent? I don't know how vocal she typically is on Twitter, but Emily Henning. Yeah.
I know. I heard somebody say something about her. I forgot what it was though.
She probably can't freely speak about anything either. So
I mean, maybe she's just so level-headed that she's like, well, that sucks, on to the next thing. I don't know.
I wonder what she's gonna do.
Me and Press were saying, what if she could go back to Naughty Dog now that Bruce Straley's gone?
I doubt that, but it could happen. That would be interesting.
How cool would that be?
That would be interesting. Yeah, it just sucks for her because she's hasn't finished 2 games now in a row.
You know what I think would be cool? If they continue, not that it's necessary to do anytime soon, this is a little off topic, but what if while Naughty Dog's working on Last of Us or maybe even something brand new, what if Amy Hennig like rebooted Uncharted, like, and she like wrote and directed the next Uncharted game with like a new character or something, or like, spoiler alert, give you a few seconds.
Don't say it, Garrett. It's too early.
I won't say it. But
the last thing she tweeted was October 20th. When was that? Yesterday. She tweeted, love you, Zach.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Just responding to some of her coworkers,
she retweeted,
I guess. For
the record, it was beautiful, amazing fun. And then she quoted Patton Oswalt saying, it's chaos, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's funny because when I was at EA's Redwood Shore studio, which is where Visceral's located, for that EA Summit thing I went to earlier this summer in San Francisco, I remember I went into the lobby and you could see up, that picture you've probably seen of the whole staff on that staircase. You could see up that staircase and where the big Visceral game sign was, and there's just nothing. No one was going up and down the stairs. I couldn't see anyone up there. I was like, man, it's kind of like a ghost town up there. I was like, what's happening? I was like, the new linear adventure Star Wars game is being developed. Probably as I'm standing here.
Maybe they were at that. Like when did you go there?
It was I think early September. No. It was late August.
Oh no, this year.
Of this year was late August. Yeah.
I keep forgetting we're past September. Mm-hmm. So they were probably like, even then, maybe they knew and they were kind of ramping.
Oh yeah,
down.
I'm sure this didn't.
Maybe that's why
happened.
People
a couple of days ago, they just decided to axe it. This has probably been in discussion.
That happens in radio. Yeah. Did you know that? Like radio stations will be in the middle of broadcasting. Someone will come in and be like, "You're done."
Yeah. Then one day they just stop broadcasting. They don't tell anyone.
I know. I told you I used to listen to Project 961 in the mornings. Got in the car the next day to playing like a Taylor Swift song, which of course I don't hate. But I was like, "Is this some kind of joke?" I was like, "What is this?" And then another pop song came on, and then another one came on. It was like, "This is so and so and Jackie in the morning. What's up?" I was like, I thought it was a rock station. I was like, what happened? I had to like do my research. Found out they came in Candid overnight. It was a new station.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's in Ohio now.
He is, yeah.
Cincinnati.
Kid Chris. Amazing radio host.
He was great.
He was incredible.
Did you ever listen to Kid Chris?
Yeah.
It's so funny. But anyway, yeah, it really sucks for everyone involved too. I mean,
yeah.
I hope they find work.
At where?
At Visceral.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping one day we can get a fantastic Star Wars single player game.
I'm holding out for Respawn now.
Hey, we might have one
in November. Is it 17?
Maybe.
Yeah. They got some good writers on it.
Yes, they do. I loved that episode Kind of Funny did with one of EA's Motives writers, the co-writer with Mitch Dyer. I can't remember his name.
Apparently every news outlet's just going to leak the whole campaign.
Leak?
They've done like 3 chapters of the campaign already.
3 chapters?
Yeah. In the new Battlefront campaign, they've showed like 3 campaign missions.
Oh
no,
yeah,
they haven't. They've shown like
two snippets of a few missions.
I mean, I haven't watched.
I watched all 3 of them, and it's literally like
it's the very beginning of the game too.
Yeah.
So I misspoke.
Nothing exciting.
I had to do a video for it last night.
It shows a person walking around Endor. It showed a
droid flying around a rebel ship, and then the Inferno Squad flying into the destroyed Death Star.
Yeah, that's it.
Which, even from a storytelling standpoint, I thought was already so cool to have the Inferno Squad fly into the debris of the Death Star. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. And how they react to that. Really, really hope that story is as compelling as the trailer makes it out to be. So, but Respawn, man, still speculation. We've seen that behind-the-scenes clip of people with lightsabers, it looks like. Mm-hmm. Don't know what to expect, but I hope it's awesome. And I hope it's not canceled before it comes out. I'd love to play it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's disappointing. But it is heartbreaking. I hope to see it maybe pertain some of the elements of what it once was. I don't know if it's going to be a shared world shooter. Let's predict a little bit about what we think it's going to be based on what they've said. They're very broad in their terminology. Obviously, this is very carefully worded. But do you think it's going to be an attempt at a shared world shooter in Star Wars? Which I'll admit, I'm not opposed to. If it's anything Star Wars that's going to get me excited, I don't need another shared world shooter. I was going to be in the mood for a linear Star Wars adventure. But do you guys think it'll be like an RPG type situation or a shared world shooter? What do you think we're in store for? It would be hard
for me to see that with like Anthem coming out from EA as well.
That's what I was thinking. Like, why would you double down on shared worlds?
I just don't see how a shared world shooter could even work with Star Wars.
I mean, let's pretend Destiny is Star Wars with Star Wars weapons and characters.
I just don't feel like there's enough.
See, the guns don't compel me in Star Wars. The lightsabers do. I don't want to run around with a gun or blaster. And
I think you can make blasters interesting.
Maybe. But even in Battlefront, like when I'm playing, I'm just like, this is fine, but I'd rather...
I got an exotic blaster, dude.
Yeah, there's like not a lot of variety in terms of that. And I feel like if you start making up guns and stuff...
That's a slippery slope.
What if they made just an open world type?
We have to think about how this would fit inside the canon as well. With just, if it's a shared world shooter like Destiny, like the millions of people just running around doing these missions, like where would that even fit in the timeline?
I mean, we can't figure it. I know this is such a niche now, but EA's or BioWare's Old Republic MMO exists as well.
Yeah.
So you can't really do like a giant open world in Star Wars. I don't think so. Well, it's Old Republic, so I guess you could call it canon. Not that it really matters. I would love to. I don't want to go. We'll go into this some other time, but I'd love to see Old Republic explored in either film or TV at some point, or even another video game. I'd love to do another. It's gonna
be the bounty hunter game with a Nemesis system.
Do you think we'll ever? Yeah. Do you think we'll ever hear? That'd be kind of cool, actually.
That would be pretty cool.
Do you think we'll ever hear what the title of this game was going to be?
One day.
I'd love to hear what the title. Maybe
there wasn't a title.
Maybe not.
I mean, the game was still far away.
EA Star Wars. 2017 or 2019 at that point. Bummer, man.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear more about what you guys feel about that situation in the comments below. Please let us know. That brings us to community questions. Only a few this week to wrap up. If you'd like to send us a community question to be read on this show, like you've heard all on this episode, I love when we can weave them into the conversation. It makes it a very organic conversation. You can reach us in one of three places. You can email us at obvious_gaming, or that's, excuse me, ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com is our email address. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming, or you can submit your questions in the Ask IOG section on our Discord channel. Now, all that info is found in every description of our YouTube videos and every description of iTunes and Spotify, depending on where you're listening. If there's a description to be seen, all that info is in there, and that's where you can reach us. We'd love to hear from you guys. Even if you just want to talk, man, this pumpkin, we're killing him. You can just send us a message. We'd be happy to talk to you guys. But the first one comes from Maybe She's Born With It, and I'm pretty sure that's Mr. Maybe. He says, "Hello, everyone." I'm sorry if it's not Mr. Maybe. I'm just assuming it is.
Hello.
A quick question about reworks, changes, etc. I formerly mained Mercy. I have not. Okay, I see. I have not enjoyed Overwatch as much as I used to since the Mercy changes. I have almost completely stopped playing her and turned for another character. I've been learning Sombra. So I was wondering, have there ever been any changes / reworks to any characters / classes, etc. that turned you away from said thing? Thanks, and see you around. Any games that have been reworked as far as characters or mechanics are concerned that have kind of turned you off to the game?
I mean, I've played a fair bit of Destiny in my day, and, you know, when patches come around and they nerf weapons, I mean,
kind of bums you out a bit.
That. Yeah, like I guess back in the day, I really liked using the Last Word hand cannon. That was, you know, the hip fire one. When they nerfed that a little bit, I didn't use it, obviously. It wasn't nearly as good as it used to be. So that kind of stuff's kind of disappointing sometimes, but you could argue that they're necessary to keep the game fresh. So I've never really had a situation where I was really disappointed that something was changed, because there's always other things that I enjoyed in the game to keep me satisfied.
Absolutely.
What about you?
I don't think so.
Like in Overwatch, they haven't reworked a whole lot of heroes, you know, so.
Yeah, I've never really experienced that myself before. I'm a very go-with-the-flow person. I mean, every now and then in life, not necessarily in video games, but every now and then something will bother me to a point where I will either avoid it or prefer not to participate in said thing. That's very rare. I'm a very go-with-the-flow with person, especially in a video game. If like a Mercy has changes, which I've yet to try for myself, I'm open to it. Maybe I won't be into it either, but it wouldn't necessarily push me away from the game as a whole. Now, from the character, maybe, but I haven't played her yet. But I've never had that happen to me yet in a video game. What about you, Preston?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
Mm. Thanks for sharing, Jacob. Josh Scriber says, Preston, this question is especially for you and your competitive nature. What games have pushed you to the point of absolute rage? One of mine is Soul Calibur 5. I love a challenge, so I jumped into the hard difficulty without finishing the tutorial. Also, keep in mind, I'm a very calm person. I get to the final boss, Nightmare, with little trouble. Boom! Difficulty spike. The first several losses didn't faze me because I was learning his pattern. I learned it after about 6 losses, and guess what? He completely changes patterns and murders me 4 more times. My last try got him to about 30% health, and he M. Bisons me. Is M. Bison like a wrestler or something?
He's a Street Fighter character.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know Street Fighter very well. M. Bisons me.
Okay, I don't either.
I die for the 11th time, instantly achieve Super Saiyan, toss my controller into a wormhole, and start dino-stomping the floor.
A wormhole?
Yeah, dino-stomping the floor until my mother comes in my room and tells me to shut up. I ejected Soul Calibur 5, buried it in my closet, and it just sat there with the lights off, pondering my existence. What are the games that made you rage the most?
I'm not nearly as bad as I was, but I've gotten mad a few times. The last game that really pissed me off big time was Final Fantasy 15, the DLC. I had to fight this boss for this trophy in like a particular time. I think that was it. It was the Gladio DLC, and I almost made a mistake. I almost broke something, but I held it back. That was the maddest I've gone in a long time. Now, back in the old days, there were still several holes in my bedroom from me just flinging controllers around. So I had tons of little rage fits, primarily over Call of Duty 4. I was so competitive back then, I think like every other high schooler, and the thought of somebody just straight up owning me, I couldn't accept it, and it just sent me into fits. I slammed my controller on the ground so hard one time it ricocheted and hit the roof. Your ceiling? My ceiling. I still have like a red streak on my ceiling from my red controller. I kicked in my door one time, like Sparta kicked it and put a hole in my bathroom.
The shape of the door handle.
Yeah, I picked up a textbook one time and threw it across the room like a frisbee, went into the wall. So I'm not proud of those moments.
Who was it that threw a disc like a frisbee?
That was me. It was me. I'm going to go ahead and default to our episode way back in the day. It's only on YouTube in our podcast playlist called Our Biggest Gaming Rage Moments or something like that. And that's still so funny. I share most of my rage stories. A couple in particular, just for the sake of this conversation. I did at one point take out a disc of Halo 3 and threw it across the room like a frisbee so perfectly that it shattered into like 6 pieces when it hit the wall. Similar situation with throwing something. I was playing drums one time and I had a headache that day when I was younger. I was playing really hard, and also my drumstick came up, and I'm talking when you're playing hard enough, dude, and you smack yourself in the face with a drumstick, it is like the most rage-inducing feeling you can ever imagine, because you've inflicted so much effing pain on yourself, and you feel so stupid too, hitting yourself in the face with a drumstick, that I threw a drumstick across the room like a ninja star. I always called it a ninja star, like a shuriken, and it perfectly 90-degree angle went all the way into the wall. There was like an inch of it sticking out from the wall. I could have impaled someone with that drumstick. I threw it so perfectly. Very briefly pondered whether or not I should be like an assassin of some sort. I'm going to like shuriken competitions.
I've accidentally, I think within the last year, I've done this. I'll get mad and I'll very quickly just squeeze my controller. You can pop them in half. I have 2 controllers in my closet where there's just a line up the middle where I just straight up break it.
Wow.
I mean, if you just get mad and just squeeze it really quick, you can pop those things in half easy. I don't think the Xbox controller, it seems more together, but the PlayStation's a little long, so it's just super easy to just pop it in half.
I've had a few controller squeezes in my day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a billion things. I mean, I bit an entire stick out of a controller one time. I was so pissed. I was like a rabid animal when I was younger. Got so mad that I was like, and like bit the stick and ripped it completely out of its socket.
That's scary.
It was brutal, man.
Yeah.
When, like a werewolf or something.
Nice.
I threw one of Zach's Xbox controllers. And there's a couple bar stools next to me. We were playing Halo 3 back in the day, and I threw it to the side, and like bing, 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 like ricochet like a pinball in between these legs, and exploded into like 1,000 pieces, all in one motion. It was like a 3-second ordeal. Throws it, ricochets, explodes. I turn right to him. I go, "I'll buy you a new one." So
I got so good at putting controllers together because I broke so many in high school. I'd have to make a zombie controller, take all the good pieces out of one I broke with another one I broke, and make a controller. There was a while where I think for an entire year I played with an Xbox controller where both where your palms go, I had to duct tape around both sides, so every time I'd finish playing, my hand would be all sticky and I'd have to like peel it from the controller, and I had to wait until Christmas for my parents to buy me a new one.
Man.
And then I probably broke that one within like a month or something.
I have a million rage stories I could share, but those are just a few of the funny ones.
Every week when I play Destiny 2 PvP, nothing drives me more insane because the game's all about team shooting, right? When I'll be with a couple teammates, I'll be, peeking a corner shooting people, then people just leave me, just leave, and I'm there. I don't realize that they've left, and I'm still peeking corners, and there's 3 enemy teammates out in the open just shooting me. I just die instantly. And then when I get embarrassed in Crucible, like someone will like jump over my head, do like a blink ability, and like just shotgun me in the back. I'll like get so pissed. I'll like punch a door or something.
Dude,
I still get super mad at games.
Yeah,
like Destiny a lot.
Jacob broke an entire table in half in our apartment. Over time, he would punch holes in this crappy little table we had in our apartment over and over and over against a little wooden table. And by the time we moved out close to it, he broke the entire thing in half.
Yeah.
He also dented...
That's Black Ops 2.
Yeah, he also dented his metal closet door, like the closet doors that kind of swing open. He dented it.
Which is an absolute miracle we didn't get charged for that.
Yeah, we were making jokes about it because our apartment was a disaster zone. Some of the damage we inflicted getting mad at video games, and Jacob destroyed his closet, and they did not notice.
I had a rage moment in that apartment too with my bed.
You like flipped the entire bed over.
I was playing The Last of Us, and which isn't even like a rage-inducing game at all. And for some reason, it just hit me wrong. And I went. I had this metal framed bed. Didn't we have the same bed for the most part?
Just that pretty much,
framed?
yeah.
And I went. It was so light. It was like from IKEA or whatever. And I picked it up and just threw it in the air and just I caught it again in midair and just slung it down as hard as physically possible. Made the loudest noise. I'm surprised it didn't bust the wall down. And our neighbors downstairs didn't say a word.
I know.
But you get that drum kit and just go, and they come running upstairs. And we did all the crap we did and got no noise.
That's what I thought was so funny is we would be in the middle of you and I be quietly playing like a game in our room because Preston and I shared a room and Jacob and Zach shared a room. They were down the hall. It'd be nice and quiet in our room, and all of a sudden you hear like a like boom, like on a wall or like the closet door or something.
You yell like fuck.
Yeah, and you knew it was Jacob. I thought it was so funny. The people below us thought we were probably psychopaths. Like
every time I yelled, I would be quiet and I would listen to see if you guys reacted, and you usually did.
We used the terrible language we would use and like smashing things. Preston slamming his bed on the ground. Jacob punching the closet, breaking tables. Zach one time broke a Guitar Hero guitar over his knee playing FIFA
in the living room.
Yeah, because me and Logan kept beating him and Mason over and over and over again. He just took a Guitar Hero guitar and broke it over his knee.
I remember I would watch him. I would pretty much not even watch the basketball game. I'd watch him watch the basketball game when the Cavaliers like lost in the playoffs, and he would just go to that couch and just freaking punch it like 30 times.
I remember when he punched a stool at his old house in the Cavs.
Oh, I remember that too. Yeah, he punched it.
Like fractured his hand or something.
Yeah, he like broke a part of his hand. So, yeah, amazing.
I'm surprised
times.
I haven't broken a knuckle from punching like doors and walls.
Yeah, I've never really punched a wall or anything.
It's like I don't punch them super hard, but I punch them hard enough to regret it after I do it.
Yeah, you must be hitting a stud. If you hit in between a stud, you're
sometimes I'll just like slam my fist like this into something.
Oh, okay. What did I do? Crap. I did that one time to a wall, and I hardly even punched it. Like it was just a hammer fist into the side, and I caved it in. I mean, if you're in between those studs, you can pretty much breathe on a wall, and you're going to go through it. Yeah. Their drywall is not strong. But that's it for me.
Yeah, it's just a few of our rage moments. I know I have more. I just can't think of anything specific. But again, I'll refer to that episode. That's where you'll get all the stories. Especially some of Zach's are so funny, too. We have two from Cheeky to wrap it up. Cheeky says, would you guys consider Cuphead a Game of the Year contender?
Sure.
No.
I've been playing it a little bit.
I think in some ways, yes, not every way. I think aesthetically, graphically, and artistically, absolutely. It's gorgeous and very unique. One of the most unique games I've ever played as far as the way it looks and the way it was developed. I mean, the behind the scenes of the animation, how they brought that game to life by hand, astounds me. It's amazing. And I think that alone is a huge achievement and something to be praised. Gameplay isn't that unique. It's kind of a blend of a lot of old school platformers in a lot of ways. Kind of has the Mega Man vibe with the dash mechanic and the shooting. You can compare it to 1,000 platformers, but gameplay isn't that unique, but the way it looks is amazing. So I think in that sense, yes. In a certain category, I could see it winning something. I don't know about Game of the Year as a whole, but definitely some awards at the end of the year, I would say.
I forgot to mention that I've been playing this game the last couple of weeks with Evan.
Oh, Cuphead?
Yes, we've been slowly but surely getting through it. We're at the Dice Man's, the second area of the game.
Okay, that's where me and Casey are.
It's pretty rewarding once you finish something. Even though you're not like really getting anything, it just feels rewarding after accomplishing that hard task.
Right.
It's very hard with two people.
It is. It's distracting.
A lot of times when we beat a level, only one of us is there.
Right. I was telling Casey that it's so much easier when you play by yourself because the other person is more of a distraction than they are a help.
Yeah, it's also helpful though because you can revive them if you just parry them. They'll come back to life.
Yeah.
It's a fun game though.
It is.
It's definitely one of my contenders. It's a cool game.
Yeah, maybe. Are you ever plan on getting to it, Preston?
Yeah, eventually. Cool. I said no just because I haven't played.
Man, it would.
But I highly
it would thrive on the Switch. I mean, I know they've already sold over 1 million copies, but it would be huge on the Switch.
Maybe in another year, but this year's flooded.
Yeah, there's too many good games this year. Not that that's not a good game, but right. You know what I mean.
Lastly, Cheeky says, what has been your favorite art style in a game? I love Neon Drive's art. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Cuphead in there because we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
That's easily one of my favorite art styles in a game I've ever seen. I know it's existed in old cartoons and movies back in the day and old animations, but to see that come to life in a video game is awesome. So that's one of my favorites.
I really admire Breath of the Wild. I think the art design is really beautiful.
I'll say that.
I agree.
I'll say Cuphead. I'll also
Beautiful
say,
Joe, man.
Well, Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Oh, totally. That's amazing too.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I wish I liked fighting games because that game looks so.
I'm trying to think of games I played that have really unique art styles. I mean, I really like the style of Limbo.
Well,
I think Limbo's a gorgeous
unique?
game.
He said unique.
It's just your favorite art styles.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll just say Dragon Ball Fighters. Just I've never seen a game literally look like
the anime.
The anime.
Yeah.
Like it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any intention on trying that game out when it comes out?
Maybe. It depends on what's coming out. I don't know, like Jacob said, I'm just not good at fighting games. I'm awful at them.
But I love Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But I mean, if there is a story mode that's different, so I might at least rent it or something just to play through that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one more art style I really like. We mentioned Cuphead, Dragon Ball Fighters. Something else. I know I've admired many art styles in my day. I just can't think of them. I think Overwatch looks awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the look of Overwatch.
Yeah.
What about like classic 8-bit styles or something like that? I like Shovel Knight for that reason. If it looked a different way, I probably wouldn't like it as much.
For nostalgic purposes, I like games that look like that.
Yeah.
I think Fortnite looks pretty cool and similar to Overwatch.
Project Octopath. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It is very unique. That's a good shout out. Yeah, that's very unique. Mm-hmm.
I never went back and played through the rest of that. I should. Hopefully it doesn't come out.
Final Fantasy Project Octopath Traveler.
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe.
I'd like to play that game soon.
I would too.
Well, boys, that's going to do it for episode 124 of the It's Obvious podcast. Excuse me.
That was.
Hey, can we make it a goal of ours to do Ask IOG this week?
Oh, yeah.
You need a mic and/or cable, correct?
Well, see, I'm working very close, so if there's any way
you could just come over
one day, I can just scoot on over for a little bit.
It's all up to Jacob then.
Okay.
Because I can do.
Depends what day and what time.
What works best for you, we will do it.
Thursdays are the best day for me.
How do you feel about that, Preston?
Thursday night.
That would be fun.
Let's do it.
Well, what do you mean Thursday night?
Like.
Because you can't do it till late, though, can you?
Anywhere from.
Can you do like 6-ish?
I could do a little after 6, yeah. Like
Thursday 6:30?
Yeah.
It's going down.
Okay.
Speaking of Ask IOG, I will upload. There's 2 more episodes I can upload to Spotify in this moment. I can upload episode 4, which I've yet to do, and also the crossover episode we did with the It's Obvious podcast a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So I will upload those this week, and hopefully a new episode will debut on Friday as well for Ask IOG on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcasting services.
Cool, man.
Great episode, dudes. We had a lot of critical discussion there, a lot of hot topics.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've had a really serious gaming discussion in quite a while. I don't consider it serious. Like, this is serious business. I just mean like a really critical analysis of the situation.
It was a busy week.
It was. A lot of interesting things going on in the gaming
industry. We're going to have a lot to talk about this next week.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. I think one of us has the responsibility to pick up Assassin's Creed. I think it's going to be Preston.
Oh, but I want to play Wolfenstein.
I know. I'm just kidding. Bad. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I mean, I've played 2 hours of Assassin's Creed.
What is this?
Why is Assassin's Creed coming out on a Friday?
I have no idea.
What's the purpose of that?
Oh no, we're gonna have to talk about this Saturday though.
Talk about this.
There's no way we're gonna be able to play all 3 of those games.
I'm gonna be working this Saturday.
What Saturday?
This coming Saturday. I'll have to leave my house no later than like 3:15 on Saturday.
Okay. I don't know if we can do that Saturday.
Do what? The podcast?
Yeah.
Why not?
Saturday's the whole hoopla. Dad's birthday shebang.
Okay, when's the Georgia-Florida game? Is that this coming weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then maybe, can we do it Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
Can you do the podcast next Sunday? Maybe. I know this is like a discussion to have off the podcast. Exactly. I know, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, let's just wrap it up here.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us, guys. Please check us out at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming if you haven't. That's all I have to say.
If you haven't, you're an idiot.
Oh,
that's pretty cold, Jacob. Everyone's going to remember you as the guy with the cold shoulder on It's Obvious Gaming.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've appreciated talking to you.
Yeah, everyone have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for the continued support. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below covering any of the subjects we've discussed this week. Please keep your community questions coming. We are getting to the exciting ones for Ask IOG. We've already determined a date. You've heard it here. If we don't stick to it, I'm going to say we're going to stick to it. We have to be men of our word this week.
Let's do it.
We're going to do it.
All right.
Look forward to it this Friday. It's coming.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.